It's rivalry week in Wilkes as King's College gets set to battle Wilkes University in the 20th annual Mayor's Cup. Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Kuhl from Fox 56 Sports. This is a throw out the records type of game after the disappointing seasons these two teams had. Winning today could be the perfect ending to the season for either squad. Kings is looking for their third straight win over Wilkes. This would be the second time in the game's history that the Monarchs would have beaten the Colonels 3 times in a row. The last time was back in the early 2000s. Both coaches in today's matchup have ties to Muhlenberg College. Kings coach Jeff Narr was an assistant for 11 years, serving as the offensive coordinator for his last 4. Coach Troy Brown came to Wilkes after 4 years as the quarterbacks and special teams coordinator for the Mules. Today's game features 2 of the top 5 linebackers in the MAC. Wilkes Jr. Tanner Stengel leads the conference with 119 tackles, while junior Bobby Russell from Kings is 5th in the conference with 71 total tackles. Expect both of them to make an impact in today's game. Let's head out to McCarthy Stadium with Bob, John, and Aaron. See you at halftime.
Wilkes is wrapping up this season with only 1 win. The Colonels have the top passing offense in the conference and will need stability in that to beat Kings.
I think we've just got to be more consistent, find a way to be more consistent, and allow the fact that we're competing every down, allow that to have some impact on what's going on the scoreboard.
Kings has lifted the Mayor's Cup trophy the last 2 seasons. The Monarchs know winning the last game of the year can have a big impact on the offseason.
I mean, because the kids get the trophy. I mean, they get a sense of pride. I mean, they kind of win the big, when you win your big rival, game, and it gives you momentum for recruiting and into the off season. So it definitely does a huge boost to the off season.
They first met in 1946. It's Wilkes and Kings. Next.
He's got a lot of room. He's going to reach for his up. He gets in. One guy to score. Switches hands, and see you later. He is hit.
Fox 56 Sports presents the Rivalry of the Week on Fox 56.
And the celebration starts on the double sideline.
On a cold, blustery November afternoon from McCarthy Stadium in Wilkes-Barre Township, it's the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game between Wilkes University and Kings College. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, joined today by Aaron Dugan and John Mendola from the Fox 56 Sports Show. And John, it seems like every time we come to Kings, we have a weather event. Snow, rain. Today it's going to be the wind.
Yeah, it could be a factor for Wilkes because they like to throw the ball an awful lot and in a quick pace. So see how the wind plays out today here at McCarthy Stadium.
Throwing the ball will be second-year starter Ryan Daly. He needs a big game.
He does. He's 119 yards away from holding the passing record for Wilkes. But again, that quick pace, he's got 10 games under his belt. And again, you've got to get this one because it's a Kings rivalry. I mean, this is the one you want every year.
Kings has been playing very good football as of late. Lost a tough one last week to Lebanon Valley. First-year starter at quarterback, Tommy Hara, he's having a good year too.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns on the ground, 5 touchdowns through the air. He's a feisty guy. He's a senior. It's his final game here at McCarthy Stadium, so he's going to be fired up and ready to go.
Well, which name will be engraved on the Mayor's Cup trophy this year? Will it be Kings for the 3rd straight time, or can Wilkes pull off the upset? The starting lineups and the opening kick are on the way. Our national anthem performed by the Wyoming Valley West High School Band. Welcome back to McCarthy Stadium, everyone. We're set for the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game between Wilkes and Kings, but this rivalry goes on way beyond this 20 years, and for more on that, let's go down to the field with Aaron.
Well, Bob, when it comes to this Mayor's Cup game, each and every year, throw out the records, throw out the regular season, you're always going to get a good game. We'll take a look now at the last 5 years of this Mayor's Cup. Kings, they've been victorious the last 2 years. They've been tight games, 27-21 and 35-28. Before that, it was Wilkes for 3 years, and Wilkes does lead overall 13-6 in Mayor's Cup games since 1996, and they also lead overall 20-8 since 1946. That was the first time this game was played. So, Bob, like I said, you really never know what's going to happen here today.
Yeah, Thank you, Aaron. John, when we talked to both coaches this week, that's exactly what they said. They didn't have the best of years, but throughout the records. Weather today going to be a factor. 40 degrees, partly cloudy, but it's the winds out of the northwest. I'd say they're gusting to 25, 30 miles an hour. And as we look at the flag on here, it looks like it's going across the field, John.
Yeah, and I think you'll tend to see swirling winds here. You know, it's an interesting, wide-open area, so sometimes you get that swirling wind, especially in November, but could play a factor with the Colonels. We'll see if it matters with the Monarchs today, who will probably run the football a little bit more than Wilkes.
Well, Kings won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so we'll see that high-powered offense from Wilkes on the field first, doing the kicking for Kings for the past couple of years. Mikhail Kenisevich, number 95. Deep to receive for Wilkes. It looks like it's Deemer and Robinson. So we are underway for the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game on Fox 56. This is Deemer up to the 23-yard line. So that's where we'll see the Wilkes offense first. This is an offense that averages just 15 points per game. And they, as I said, they like to throw it 265 yards per game. That's second in the MAC. Their points per game, John, though, last, and they're going to need points today.
Yeah, they are. They do have that fastest paced offense that Coach Narr is worried about, but with 7 seniors over on that defensive end, feels like he matches up pretty well.
Daly in the shotgun. Out to Deemer, in and out of his hand. That was a little wobbly on the pass.
Well, they like to get the ball in the hands of some of their playmakers early. Last year they did it on a jet sweep, I remember. I think it was Deemer. You know, so they try to get some of those quick action guys they could offensively.
Daly does have 13 interceptions on the year. Be cognizant of that this afternoon. Left side, same play. This one goes into the ground. So Daly not off to the fastest of starts.
Wow, I was watching him in warm-ups, and he's trying to throw some long balls, and I think that wind was getting his arm strength, just a little short.
Well, there you see Laterno. He's the third-string quarterback. That's right. Incremona and Fink are out for today's game. Laterno is going to get all the plays. Wide receivers, very good. Deemer, 50 catches on the year. And up front, watch out for F.J. Constantino out of Dallas High School. And the right guard, he's 6 foot 245. He's going to be tested this afternoon. So a big third down. Little screen. Laterno breaks tackles, and he's going to be well short of the first down. So it looks like Wilkes will have to punt on their first possession.
Well, you run through a big linebacker like that. That was a nice job. You see the defensive front there, Bob.
Yeah, Martino was in there on the stop. 53 tackles, 10 for a loss, 7.5 sacks. Linebackers very good. Bobby Russell, fifth in the conference, and tackles 71 on the year. And this Kings defensive secondary will be tested. Martuccio, 2 interceptions on the year. He does have 46 tackles. So that will bring on Mellon to kick. Averages 36 yards. Martuccio's back to receive, and it actually falls right out of bounds. So Kings' first possession will be taking place right at the 35-yard line.
How about Wilkes' offensive possession? All of 21 seconds. So fast-paced, but got to be efficient. You got to be able to get downfield. So we'll see that and talk about that as the day goes on. Remember last year with Kings, that big time of possession difference for the Monarchs.
Well, last year, between both teams, they ran over 150 plays in the game. Kings won at 27-21. Here's Tommy Hara, first-year starter. Mostly a runner last year, but he's played pretty well under center. He's out of Holy Spirit High School in New Jersey. Kings will not be in any hurry. Gonna go long on the first play. Incomplete, trying to hit Mike Palmer down there, but great defense by this secondary, Isaiah Robinson and Tahid Jackson.
We tried getting it up top to Palmer, who's 5'7", 165 pounds. He's a junior. That's 574 yards this season.
Kings offense averaging 20 points per game. That is 8th in the MAC. They're 274 yards through the air. Believe it or not, it's actually last in the MAC. First handoff of the game goes to Gabe Robinson, the freshman. 1 yard. They're down on the way. Here are the starters for the Kings. You just talk about Gabe Brown, a freshman out of Camden, Delaware. Receivers are very good. Mike Palmer, 50 catches on the year, 5 touchdowns. He had 12 catches against Albright. And up front, better line, he's been there a long time. 5'10", 260-pound senior. So John, a big third down on the way, 3rd and long. 4-man rush. Harris pass well off the mark, trying to hit DeMarco. So 2 3-and-outs.
DeMarco's a transfer, went to Myers, and transferred in here. And just they couldn't find the window there with Harris.
So both offenses struggling here early on. Some nerves probably, right, John? I mean, it's the last game of the year. They're both up for it.
And both teams have played in a bunch of defensive games. You know, Kings on the other end of, I think, a 10-6 loss last week to Lebanon Valley.
High snap for Hankey. He hangs on. Flag down on the play.
There's a flag on the play.
Jimmy Burks, our referee today. There you see him. And it looks like the initial call will be a hold, and we'll wait for his official call on the field.
Holding, kicking team, number 21, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
So LaGoyta is in, John, to do the punting. He's actually listed as the freshman backup quarterback, number 15. It is not Hankey, who was on the depth chart. So after the hold, it will back up Kings.
Here's Jeff Narr. Those years go quick.
This one's blocked. Robinson got it. Recovered by Kings, but a first break of the game goes to Wilkes. Looks like Thomas Borney, John, a freshman out of Hackettstown, who might have got it, or at least recovered the ball.
One boo-boo could make a difference. Coach Trey Brown this morning talking about playing 4 quarters, making sure every facet of the game is played, and a bobbled snap, back up, and we get a little blockage by Isaiah Robinson, and the Colonels are knocking on the door.
Wilkes did have 2 blocked this season. Excuse me, Kings has 2 blocked. Here is the Wilkes offense, and they give it to Laterno, and he shoots through for a couple yards.
Boy, I like that slot guy over there for the Colonels. Closest defender was 10 yards off him, but they gave it straight ahead, got some positive yardage. Wilkes just wants to see if they could move this ahead and get that first down.
Laterno again left side, so they go to the ground on the first 2 plays. They can get a first down inside the 5.
Stingy defense, this Kings group with 7 seniors, so you know, Wilkes has struggled a little bit. They do have the fast pace, but they're going to have to find ways, whether it's a couple of trick plays, the right call at the right time, something to put up 6 instead of trying to get 3. So 6 points could go a long way.
Kings defense 6th in the MAC in scoring, giving up 24 points per game during this season. Deemer in motion. Fired to the end zone. Incomplete. Trying to get Garrett Armstrong. 4th down on the way.
Well, you got to put up the 3 now for Wilkes, but you had your man, and you just couldn't finish, and that's been kind of the theme for Wilkes this year. They've been oh so close, a couple opportunities this season. Daly finds the wide open area to deliver the ball, and then the receiver just could not bring that in. Got to squeeze it.
Here's Carl Von Gahn out of Hackettstown in for the field goal. It will be from 25 yards. High snap. Kick is up. And it is good. So Wilkes capitalizes on the block punt for 3 points, and they take the early 3-0 lead. Short.
Today's Wilkes and Kings game also available for purchase on DVD or Blu-ray. Place your order. Go to myfoxnepa.com for more details.
Well, it looks nice out, except that you have to be a little bit bundled up today. In the 40-degree mark here at McCarthy Stadium. Beautiful afternoon, though. At least there's no precipitation, and that's probably a big thing. So that drive, just 4 plays, 4 yards, 124 off the clock, John. Is that a win for Kings since they held them into a touchdown?
Well, I think they're going to have that type of defense all day. I'd say, yes, it is a win, but that's what I think you're going to get out of the Monarchs. Again, pulling the rabbit out of the hat for Wilkes is going to have to be a big special teams play or something tricky or a perfect drive downfield, something they've lacked most of this season.
Here is this block punt, John. Look at it again. And they've had trouble with the handle twice already.
Yeah, snap was a little high, little mishandle, but great penetration there from Robinson on the inside, who was able to just get right into it, straight up the gut.
Remember, that is not the usual punter either. So tough handling punts, especially with the wind, too. So teed up for Wilkes, Von Gahn. Still on his feet. That's Burke. Justin Burke with a return.
Well, Burke's going to get this ball. Looks like he's going to grab it right about the 18-yard line. Little fake to DeMarco now. He could have sucked him in here and went to the outside. I thought he had that outside lane. Nobody was out there. He ends up staying inside. Still got great field position, but may have had an opportunity to get down that sideline.
So now Kings has to get back in this one, take advantage of a defense that gives up 35 points per game, which is 9th in the MAC during the season. Freshman goes nowhere. I didn't actually hear a whistle. Gain of 1. Big play in the middle by our guy, Jason Ugu.
I think the best play could have been the referee there at the end. He was doing some crap, making sure the guys are doing their thing. We'll watch the initial. It's Stengel again on the inside here on the defense for Wilkes. Makes the initial contact, and then they're trying to rip that ball out of there. Ugu, that is, and crew.
So the Kings offense, really both offenses already struggling early on. 3-man front for the Colonels. Hara has running room, he'll take off. Knocked down on the outside by Lucas Wood. Gain of about 8 for the quarterback.
Well, here's something we talked about in pregame was Hara's ability to kind of break containment. He did that, and he's a runner a little bit.
And there was Ugu, 53 tackles on the year, 10 for a loss, has 3.5 sacks on his senior season. Tanner Stengel, best in the MAC in tackles. How about 119 for the junior out of Parkland High School? In the secondary, Isaiah Robinson is the safety, 5 tackles for a loss, does have a sack and interception. 69 tackles on the year for the sophomore Robinson. So big third down on the way for the Monarchs. Hara dropped the ball. Wilkes has it. Wilkes has come to play today. Stengel comes up with it.
to the way, recover the fumble. Wilkes at the football.
One more time, that Wilkes University coming up with a big play early in this ball game, getting some heat in there, caused a little disruption, and Stengel, the best linebacker on this team, made it, but Jordan Stiles, the freshman, the one to knock that thing out.
Big plays so far have gone Colonel's way. They want the cup back. 3 wideouts come to the near side. Dealing out quickly has Bogley for a nice gain.
Read my mind looking for that play. 2 defenders were somewhat close, but you know what? You got 2 guys that could go block them. You're going to get 5, 6, 7 yards, and that's what they're able to do. You come back to that, make that a bread and butter play.
Materno, couple yards. 3rd down on the way.
Nice job by the Monarch defense getting in there. Michael Martina, 6 foot, 221 pounder.
So here's Wilkes on a 3rd down. 33% on the season for the Colonels. Laterno, big hole. Laterno off to the end zone. Touchdown, Colonels.
36-yard scamper by Laterno. Touchdown, Colonels.
3rd string, Schmerstring. Gotta come up with something creative on that, as Laterno shows he's got a little ball game to him. 5'9", 185 pounds. Literally jumped through that hole.
36-yard run for the 3rd string running back from the Colonels. Gone in, extra point is up and good, and Wilkes has jumped out early. They have a 10-0 lead in this Mayor's Cup game.
Laterno gets the ball, bounces through that hole, and then it is off to the end zone for the Colonels with a shocker so far here at McCarthy.
This is another Fox 56 sports presentation of the Mayor's Cup football game on Fox 56.
Here it is, Laterno bouncing through that hole and getting to pay dirt as the Colonels put up the touchdown this afternoon and add to that field goal they got. So 2 big plays for Wilkes.
They're missing Incremona, missing Fink. On the tailback spot, Laterno comes in, takes right over. It's his longest run of his career. Coming in, he had only 138 yards rushing. Today, he's almost going to be matching that if it keeps going this way. Just a sophomore is Laterno. So Kings now in trouble, down 10 early, but plenty of time in this game. Looks like DeMarco up to the 39-yard line. So one of the keys to the game, and Kings already in trouble with that. Jeff Nair talked about turnovers.
Yeah, you have 2 to start this game. That's not good. You know, you got to find a way to fight through it. And again, Kings this year has 3 wins. Wilkes has 1. Some of those things haunt you somewhere along the way. And you look at their records in some of these games. The Wilkes' big win this year was 12-7 against the Delaware Valley team that was pretty good. You know, for Kings, they have a few wins, but things really worked out for them in a few of those.
Kings 2 possessions. They do not have a first down yet. It's a lateral. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. So we have a new quarterback in. Now he's actually going to come off. Zach Whitehead was in there on the play. Number 18. Here you see the pass dropped actually by the quarterback, Hera.
And
a little trick play.
He's dangerous with his legs and with his feet, as he has 5 touchdowns matching each way. And a fiery player he is.
Hare comes back in to go to the shotgun. Got a wide open receiver. Fumble. Picked up. Jared Powell. Wilkes touchdown. Oh my. They're going to call it a completion and a touchdown.
They're going to call it a completion, a fumble, and a touchdown by Jared Powell.
Sometimes things just go your way, and right now could not be going any better for the Colonels. They say it was a catch, it was a fumble, and Powell took that thing the other way. Here's Hara. Beautiful delivery over to the little curl route. Gets 2 feet. Did he have possession? Well, he said he had enough. And Powell picks it up and just takes it down that sideline with a nice contingent of Colonels.
No replay in Division III. Ruling on the field stands. Von Gahn in for a second extra point. And the Kings sidelined in shock. Their team down 17-0, and we're not even halfway through this first quarter.
Colonel Faithful here taking it in and liking what they're seeing as Wilkes jumps all over it.
Powell didn't even play in last week's game. His second interception of the year. Gets a touchdown out of it. Boy, they're happy he's back in Colonel country.
Well, there's one team here that could overcome this. I think Kings has that opportunity. They could throw the ball, they could run the ball. You know, for Wilkes on their side, Bob, a team that normally a fast pace, 17 points in college, you know, 15-minute quarters isn't a whole lot.
Let's talk about Wilkes. Some people say shocked last week by Misericordia. They lost that one. A lot of heads down on the Wilkes side. Like Trey Brown talked about that during the week. How is this team going to respond? Well, whatever he said, they're fired up. They were not happy about last week's game, and they're taking it out on Kings today.
Well, he was still excited. I spoke to him this morning. He's still excited about his group. Yeah, it's been a rough year. Hey, nobody thought the Colonels would be 1-8. They're their own people. They figured, hey, maybe we get to 5-5 this year, maybe 6-4, something like that. They start out with the loss to Muhlenberg. They fight back at a huge win in a night game on a Friday against Delaware Valley at home. And then, you know, there's some games that FDU was a close one. You know, they lose a couple others that weren't too far out. And now here they are today with a big 17-point lead.
Reverse to DeMarco. Got some room on the outside. Tiptoes down, and Kings will have good field position now. In the hole, 17. Ball is going to be marked right at the 32-yard line. So here comes the offense from Kings. No first downs yet. Already 2 turnovers. Try anything he can do today, John.
Yeah, and you're seeing more of this on the college level, reversing stuff. And DeMarco's a transfer and back in his hometown here in Wilkes-Barre.
Well, the big thing for Kings was time of possession. Still plenty in this time. You can still run your offense. You cannot turn the ball over. There's a little wildcat action. Hare not under at the quarterback. That was Zach Funk, the junior, who took the snap.
Yeah, trying some different stuff here. A little wildcat action to start. Now they bring wholesale changes in on this Monarch offense.
So now Jeff Nahr's team has to match the intensity now. Thrown out by Wilkes. Kings maybe a little bit stunned at this point. Here comes the blitz. Hare can't escape it. It's taken down in the backfield. Michael Paskus, the senior, takes down the quarterback.
Small linebackers, but you know what? You got to have speed and you got to be able to finish, and he finishes on this one. Pask is 5'8", 185, senior linebacker, but he's got 57 tackles this year, 1.5 sacks. Throwing another one here for Paskus. You know, Stengel's 5'11", Lucas Wood is 5'11", a linebacker position. The other linebacker is 5'9". But you know what? That's the prototype right now for D3 guys. They want to have a little bit more speed.
Another third down for Kings, just 32% on the year, converting. Gonna go long into triple coverage. Knocked away. Trying to get to Marquise Miller, but there was plenty of white jerseys there to knock it down. Still no first downs for the Monarchs.
Well, they try to wheel route down the sideline here, trying to go up top. 3 guys converge for the Colonels. Ball kind of hung up there just a little bit with that wind.
So Hankey in to kick it away. It rolls down. So the Lakota punting duties may be over for the day, number 15. Hankey back in, kicks that one away, and Wilkes takes over at the 31. So not much offensive numbers, just a couple turnovers. And Wilkes up 17-0, and we're just halfway through this first quarter.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1,
Daly
2, 3,
out.
4, 5.
Ball's complete. He fumbles. Jacob Brook, the fullback, had it. Fumbles it forward. They'll mark it down after about a 6-yard gain.
Good hands from Brook over there, making that catch. That was a momentum catch. He just had enough going where it stuck to his paws.
Kings defense coming in 5th in the MAC, giving up 340 yards per game. Need to step it up now and hold Wilkes off the scoreboard. Daly goes down, but the pass is complete. Up forward to Ryan Richards, first down Wilkes.
Yeah, just kind of like a little bubble screen out here. They bring a guy in motion this way. King's still not honoring that too much. Daly delivers immediately, gets Deemer, gets a cut block. Some of the linemen come out there enough to move the chains.
Daly, get it out of Deemer's hands. Over in the middle of the field.
Deemer's still moving on that play, you know, not really settling in there. He kind of wants to catch it and go, and he had a little bit too much go, not enough catch.
Handoff Laterno, good push from the offensive line. Will bring up third down and short inside Kings territory for Wilkes.
Yeah, just a one-on-one tackle there as Jordan O'Hearn, 6'1", 244-pound freshman from Scranton, got in on that. But nice job there from Laterno going forward.
So Wilkes 1 for 3 on third downs this afternoon early on. Daly, quarterback keep, dives, and he's going to be marked well about 1 yard short at the 45. Wilkes looks like they're going to go for it quick.
You see Daly on this play. He's just going to bring a guy in motion. This is a design play. Just going to keep it straight up the field, but fell a little bit short. Dangerous territory here for the Colonels, but hey, when you're 1-8, you got to do what you got to do.
Kings 10 of 32 on fourth down. So Trey Brown likes to go for it. Latino puts his head down. Oh, it's going to be on the mark. I don't know, John.
The mark looks like it's very close, like possibly a hair short. Thought he got a little bit more of a surge, but it'll be interesting to see where this lines up.
Are they going to measure, or are they going to I think they're going to go over to Kings. They're looking. They're going to bring out the sticks. So they're going to measure this. They'll bring out the sticks. King says they're short. Good play by the Kings defensive line, holding Laterno there.
Yeah, by the spot of the ball, this
does
look short.
Yeah, I think he's short.
I thought he got a little bit further, but again, the officials right there, they've done a nice job today working. I mean, there's a couple close plays, but a lot of these plays are bang, bang, and we don't have that luxury of replay.
Well, Kings need something to go their way. This could be it right here. Let's see if they don't make it. They pull the chains out. Yeah, yep. Kings holds. Going to be Kings ball. So on the change of possession now, let's head down to Aaron with our first interview of the afternoon. Aaron?
Well, Bob, joining me now is a special guest from Kings College. This is Corey Eunice, the Vice President of Enrollment. So as football season winds down, I'm sure the admissions office is very busy right now. High school juniors are starting to make visits. Seniors are making decisions. What kind of opportunities does Kings offer?
Great. Well, this weekend we have an open house on Sunday. It's going to be one of our largest events. About 350 families are expected to come on Sunday. And it's not too late to register. You can go onto our website today to sign up, or just show up on Sunday morning between 8:30 and 9 a.m. and we'd love to welcome you and your family. Take a look, take a feel what our campus has to offer, and understand a little bit more about our community.
I know you're very focused on the individual experience. If a student is to come visit, what will they experience at Kings?
Great, yeah. The most important part of the college search and selection process is getting an understanding of the academic nature of the school, what the faculty are like, and so in addition to big group visits like open house, we really encourage students to come up and interview with a member of the admissions office, as well as sit in on some classes. So we do that Monday through Friday. You can simply give our office a call or go onto our website and you can sign up and really get a real understanding of what the Kings experience is all about.
All right, Corey, well, best of luck with the open house.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to the game.
Thank you, guys. Wilkes with another big defensive play. They take down Hara, and 3rd and 11 on the way. Kings just unable to get anything going.
Well, they may have had some themes this year for the Colonels this week. Heat on Hara, because they've thrown a lot of heat his way early in this game, and they're trying to batter him as best they could, and they're getting to him. The linebackers are coming and trying to create some situations where he's got to complete passes downfield.
Kings 0 for 3 on the afternoon from third downs. He has time, and he's got a receiver. It's DeMarco out there, and he's going to pick up 12. And the ball's at the Wilkes 44. Now let's see if this gets Kings going. You get that first down, you make a big positive play, John, and that's what you need.
Right, you got the stop first where Wilkes tried to go for it at around your own 45, and now you're into Colonel territory.
Funk, the big push. Funk, 9 yards, flag comes in.
Could be a devastating flag for Kings after that big run.
I'm going to say it's against Wilkes for a little bit of, I don't want to say jawing back and forth, John, but. So Jimmy Burks, our referee.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, late hit, number 66. 15-yard penalty, we play the down.
Mr. Mendola, you are correct.
Well, it was a good run here. You don't want to take anything away from the run, and that was Zach Funk. Again, 5'11", 205 pounds. Look at the leg drive from him. Just keeps going and going and going. And then the late hit comes in right at the top of the screen in the secondary.
Kings just making more mistakes here in the first quarter than I know Jeff Nahr would want. So yeah, we're close to a first down. Now you're 2nd and long. Wilkes on the blitz. Hare room. Hara still on his feet. Hara up to the 32-yard line. Gain of 17 for Tommy Hara.
Well, this is Hara on Stengel, and he gets one block. It's not much of a block, but look at this, just enough. Little leg whip over there could have been called as he kicked those legs up the center and got in Stengel's way.
Kings starting to find the lanes. Funk straight ahead. Ball on the turf again. Wilkes has it one more time, and Robinson, the sophomore, is holding the ball.
Not just one Monarch, it's been numerous Monarchs that are kind of all looking around like, I can't believe we just did that again. But you know what? Credit to the Colonels. Uwu stripping, I think that was, and he tried that earlier, as Wilkes has tried it a few times, and Uwu on that one got it.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Number 91, the senior, stripped the ball out. Wilkes stopping Kings. Second fumble of the afternoon. Daly going to lay one out. That is caught in the wind, and there you see the big effect on the gusty winds this afternoon. That just threw that ball into the turf.
Well, Wilkes tried doing what Kings did to start the game, go up top and see if you can get a big play. But again, that wind playing havoc like we thought it would. Daly tried whiffling this thing down the sideline. Receiver did a good job of trying to get in position. Didn't work.
Daly to Deemer. They're going to say it's a catch at the 35. Third and short on the way for the Colonels. Here comes the sun out.
I like the nickel and dime stuff from Wilkes. Some nickel and dime stuff. Maybe Daly keeps. A couple runs from that running back that's done a nice job today, Letourneau. And just start moving the chains a little bit. You know, as much as you want to go fast pace, at some point you got to keep moving the chains here with a 17-point lead that you're not supposed to have.
Martuccio there, number 25 on the stop. Kings needs a stop right here. Daly, Deemer can't pull it in with one hand. Again, he led him a little bit too far. Here comes the Wilkes punt team.
You have the right play call. You make just about a pretty good delivery. Deemer's got to find a way to bring that in. I know it only hit one paw, but you got those sticky gloves. You should be catching that.
Old Forge's Jake Minetti there on defense. So Mellon in to punt it away. Burke back to receive. We're under a minute here in the first quarter. High hanging kick. Takes a Kings bounce, and it'll be knocked in at the 33. So Kings, if you're just joining us, had a block punt, a fumble, an interception for a touchdown, and another fumble. 4 big mistakes here in the first quarter that have put 17 points on the board for the Colonels.
Yep, and the Kings is going to have to find a way, one play at a time, to get back into this ball game. Keeping your heads is so important, and coaches right now just talking to their guys, hey, let's go out and just make one play. Let's build on that. Let's make another play. And right now, Hara is going to be the key to making the plays here for the Monarchs.
So this is Whitehead, number 18, taking the snap. Actually, it's Funk again on the Wildcat. Seen that twice already. So he hands it off to Nick Talanka, freshman running back out of Berwick. Look like that's 38, excuse me. That's Jordan Downs. He's still a freshman, and he's a running back. So Jeff Nahr playing a lot of people today. So on that play, that will do it for quarter number 1, and what a wild quarter it was. Wilkes has come out with the intensity, John, and they have a 17-0 lead over Kings.
This is another Fox 56 sports presentation of the Mayor's Cup football game on Fox 56.
Wilkes comes back and starts this game out with a block punt. Then they send it to the end zone with Letourneau on a nice touchdown run, and then another turnover, and it is Powell taking this thing the distance for the Colonels as they lead by 17.
And the defense playing tough all day. Ugu with the strip. Robinson, another fumble recovery. I mentioned that was an interception. That was my bad. That's 3 fumbles from Kings this afternoon. So it's 17-0. We're at McCarthy Stadium in Wilkes-Barre Township. Bob I, John Mendola, and Aaron Dugan. And the Colonels own that first quarter. Kings now trying to match it. Tyler Marani couldn't haul it in. Second down on the way.
Well, they had a first down to start the quarter. Then it is Harrer rolling out to the opposite side, tries to deliver this thing over towards the sideline, but did not get the feet in.
Kings just 3 first downs in that first quarter. They've run 20 plays for just 62 yards, John. That's not what you need. Here comes the blitz. Wilkes stacks him up. Junior Funk again, nowhere to run.
The Colonels keep bringing the heat. Those linebackers are active linebackers. They've been in some feisty plays, feisty games that is this year.
Yo, Daly, keep up the good work, baby. We love you, Daly. You can't even give us a look. All right, thanks. Daly, hey Ryan. Hey Daly. Hey Ryan. Hey Aaron, what's up, man? Hey Aaron, good to see you, dude.
Third along on the way, Harrer back. In and looked like overthrown. Trying to hit Maroney again over the middle. Here comes that Kings punt team on the field.
Monarchs looking for holes in the defense. They find a couple, just not able to deliver there. A wide open receiver just overshot.
Harrer not off to a very good start at all. 2 of 8 already this afternoon, just 2 completions. Hankey the kick. Held up by the wind, and it was a fair catch call. The flag comes in as the Kings players took down the receiver for Wilkes.
Flag on the play.
Could be tacking 15 onto this one.
Javier Rodriguez, number 12, took the hit. And yeah, you mentioned it. So Kings making mistakes today. Coach Nard talked about that. His team might have won the last 2, and Wilkes has definitely come in trying to get that cup back.
Dead ball, personal foul. Kicking team, number 21. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, you see the kick coming here. They just have to make such quick decisions. Those 2 guys kind of do a little karate kick over the player. I don't think there was any intention, but they call it, and it is what it is, and 15 yards go to the Colonels. Coach Nard not happy, knowing that he has had no breaks going on his way today. It's just been a rough afternoon.
So the ball will be placed at the Wilkes 44-yard line. It's a good field position to begin this drive. Wilkes, 18 plays, 84 yards so far. Handed inside to Latino again. He picks up about 4. And a couple of big guys up front have to be the impact players, John, because they need to match the physical play of Kings. Bauman and Dupree up front against that defensive line of Kings.
Yeah, and both guys are trying to, right next to each other. Bauman at the left guard, Dupree at the center position. He's had a Parkland. Of course, Bauman at a Hanover area, and that defensive line of the Monarchs has done a nice job at times this year with, again, some senior leadership.
So a couple yards brings up 3rd down now for Wilkes. And we talked about the Kings offense. Wilkes offense just 2 first downs themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they have less time in possession, but they've capitalized on some of those turnovers and turned them into something. This is an interesting 3rd down here right at midfield for Wilkes. Seeing if they can convert. I mean, this would be big for them and try to keep this drive going here in the 2nd quarter.
And neither team has had any kind of long drive at all. Daly fires it. 2 receivers in the area. Looked like he was trying to hit Zach Mogley. 4th down on the way now. Wilkes punting back to Kings.
Tight window there for Wilkes to try to get that ball in. Looked like they had like a little stop route and then a slant, and they kind of, a lot of bodies in the area.
6th punt of the afternoon for between both teams. Wasn't for the turnovers. Could be 3-0 still. Mellon gets it away, takes a big Wilkes bounce, and it will go inside the 10. And be marked down at the 8, and that's where Kings will start their drive. Down 17 now.
Yeah, it's a big field position type of game. You know, you have 17 points on the board. You know, both teams have had opportunities and scored more points than that this season, but primarily they've been fueled by their defense. I mean, again, you go back to last week's game where Kings only scores 6 and they lose. Now their biggest scoring output this year was 35, but it took overtime against FDU.
John, with what you've seen so far but from the play of Stengel and his Wilkes defense against this Kings offense, if you're the Monarchs, what do you need to do offensively?
I kind of think you need to do what Wilkes' game plan might have been, which is, you know, you're going to need some special team plays. You're going to need some big plays and some emotion. And right now, Harrah gives him that emotion. He's an emotional guy. He's a senior. Get him some carries, maybe get him going downfield, maybe slip in a couple short passes where DeMarco or somebody could break it. So you see Harrah here. He's a senior. He's going to pull that out as soon as he sees the defensive end crash in. And Harrah's big and strong enough to go forward and get the 1st down.
Harrah gain of 12. Gets them out of the shadow of their own end zone, up to the 20. It's a big 1st down, the 4th of the afternoon for the Monarchs. Short pass out of the end zone, trying to hit Brown. I don't think Brown was expecting it, didn't have his head turned. Goes incomplete.
Brown is out of Camden, Delaware. 5'9", 190 pounds. He's got almost 400 yards on the ground this year, 10 receptions as they tried to get number 11 to him. Again, I think the Colonels have shown a lot of heat today. So what's Kings going to do to try to combat that heat? You know, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly.
Little blitz out to Maroney, goes incomplete, falls into the ground. So Maroney now getting a bunch of play. Haven't seen much of Mike Palmer in there, number 9, the starter.
See the delivery there, and again, just can't squeeze that in. One time was the feet. This one is just catching the football.
Maroney, a sophomore, 6'4", 12 catches on the year. So a big third down for the Wilkes defense to hold. Comes the blitz again. Over the middle, it's going to be complete to Palmer, but well short of the first down.
Inside of the field's been open for the Monarchs. They had a couple open guys. This one's a completion, a crossing route. Powell over there helping Robinson, as those two literally a 1-2 punch, matching their numbers.
So Hankey in to kick it. Wilkes should get good field position out of this. A little fake punt. It's a fake. It's a first down and more for Kings. Inside the 50 to the 49 goes Ryan Sigley. Ryan Sigley, the senior out of Avongrove, gives Kings the big play.
Right time, right call. You got to pull out all stops. It's the final game. You're down 17. Why not? Nice job for the Monarchs. Executing it's another thing, but they were able to do that too.
What haven't we seen yet, John? It's, you know, every year we come and we're amazed by what we see. There's always something different each and every year in this Mayor's Cup game. It's exciting. Here comes the reverse. Hankey, Hanna gonna pass. Hara knocked down, Hara was under pressure from Ugu, and he took him down.
That is tough, you know, thrown against. He's got to stop and then set his feet the opposite way.
Nice. Yeah. That's who I figured it was.
So second down.
Collect a bunch of shoes and shit. The Notre Dame game, bro, 'cause I'm an idiot. Yeah, that wasn't a good move. Nah, Notre Dame's weekend was wild. Did you go to the game? Yeah. I don't remember it, but I was there.
Hara taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Tanner Stengel. Fourth sack of the year.
3-yard loss. 3rd and 13.
Oh, you watch the blocking. Not bad by Kings. Then Hara comes forward, but Stengel just too much at 5'11", 190 pounds. Just too quick. You're 6'2", 270, 280, 6'3". You know, sometimes it's hard finding those guys a little shorter and a little quicker and staying on them.
So third downs. Kings 1 of 6 this afternoon. Here's a big one. Hara's got room. He's going to be well short of the first down, taken it down by Stengel. And a fourth down on the way inside Wilkes territory. You're down 17. John, do you go?
Well, you did the fake punt at this point, so you know, Coach Narr, I'm sure, is going to think about it.
4th down.
Well, the good thing is Wilkes' offense has not shown anything this afternoon as well. So it's been a defensive game from that standpoint. Here's Hara again, right at our camera.
Yep, Hara coming over. Great job once again from Stengel. Uwu hustling on over. So what do you do here on this fourth down? You know, you got DeMarco out there as one receiver. You also have that curl route. It seems like that's been open.
Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Got a receiver over the middle. Palmer down inside the 20 to the 19.
18-yard line. 1st and 10 Monarchs. Hara to Palmer.
Well, the curl route works this time for the Monarchs. It's been open. How many deliveries can you do? Well, you just need one right now. There it is. Find the hole of the defense and then get through. That has been there all day for these Monarchs. They haven't had a whole lot of success. They've made a completion or two, but that is a huge one on fourth down.
27-yard gain. Kings inside the red zone.
Brown on the carry.
Brown outside, puts his head down. gets inside the 15. Gain of 6. Kings has scored 18 touchdowns this season in the red zone, 27 of 23 overall.
Jackson on the tackle.
Monarchs get a nice seal on the inside, and then the running back runs to the outside. Try to hit him a little bit high, but an excellent job there as the Monarchs now knocking on that door to get their first score of the day.
11th play of the drive. Started way back in Wilkes territory. Fake punt in there. Hair out to DeMarco, trying to get him in some space. And he's going to be short. They'll be marking down at the 11. Third down on the way.
Down about the 10-yard line.
So John, we talked about Matt DeMarco out of Myers, transfer from Monmouth. As we look at it again, had a nice season. He's touchdown, 10 yards per catch.
Athletic kid, played quarterback his senior year, ended up getting banged up a little bit in high school, but very athletic kid, can make the catch, can do stuff with his feet as well. Right now for Wilkes, just getting under the 7-minute mark. You'd love to keep this to a field goal if you could. Looks like we got an audible here.
4 on the play clock. Brown inside the 10 to about the 8. Going to be close to a first down. He may have it.
First down and goal.
First down and goal for Kings.
First and goal.
Boy, that's a nice drive for the Monarchs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you go with a fake punt in your own area, you got to go for that 4th down near midfield. And now the offensive line getting some good blocks over there, getting some finishes for the Kings College Monarchs. Jake Dever, 6'1", 277, the junior, with a nice block.
13th play of the drive. Kings wants 6. Little read option, Hara. May have lost about a half a yard.
Boy, Stengel's going to have double-digit tackles by the first half.
Tackle. Hara on the carry.
See Hara looking around, reads it, and then Stengel, they just can't get to him. He's just so quick on his toes.
Second down and goal.
Stengel is 8th, John, so you're right on.
Ball at the 9.
Here comes the blitz. Hair, a little fade. Palmer, touchdown Kings!
Touchdown, 9-yard scoring strike. Tom Hara to Palmer. Mike Palmer on a 9-yard scoring strike from Hara.
Threw that to open space. And he went and got it. So the Monarchs get on the scoreboard. Really nice job there from Mike Palmer of going to get it.
14 plays, 92 yards, 7:01 off the clock. Kings is on the board. Kenasevich in. The lefty kick up, and it is through. So we got ourselves a ball game in Wilkes-Barre.
Hara throwing it to the outside. Palmer comes down with it, beats the linebacker, scored for the Monarchs.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game. Wilkes up 17-7 over Kings in the second quarter. I'm Erin Dugan. Thanks for joining us today. Joining me now is a special guest from Wilkes University, Dr. Paul Adams, the Vice President of Student Affairs. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Erin. It's great to be here again. Can't believe it's 20 years already.
I know. So let's talk about the new honors program. I know you're really excited about it. Tell us all about that.
Well, this year we welcome 30 new high-achieving students to Wilkes coming out of high school who are participating in a living learning community on campus in our newly renovated Berry Hall. And they're living together and going to school together in curricular and co-curricular activities and are able to share in a very special experience that I think is just proving to enhance their whole experience at Wilkes.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. And how are the students selected for that?
Well, coming out of high school, they need to have a minimum of a 1,500 SAT and in the top 20% of their class. And then there's an interview process that they go through, and based on their way they present and present themselves, they are selected for the program.
So we've been talking for a few years here at the Mayor's Cup. It's always a great atmosphere. So what's it like over on the site today?
Well, it's very exciting, especially with the score so far, but we know the game's got a long way to go, and it's going to be very competitive right to the end, but it's great to be here looking at our young student athletes from Wilkes coming out to support the football team today. It's great to be there with them.
It's always nice to chat with you.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
All right, Bob, back to you.
Thank you, Paul, for joining us. Good to see him again. We see him just about every year. So we're under 6 to play. Kings gets back into it. John, we got ourselves a little ball game. Finally, someone gets some offense going.
Well, I think this drive could be one of the most important drives of the afternoon, regardless how the score ends up, because if you're Wilkes and you have a 21-second possession like they did in their opening drive, you give the ball over and then Kings has an opportunity to score, it really could change the whole complexion of the game. If you're able to at least eat up the clock and maybe Kings doesn't get an opportunity to score, at least you still have that 10-point cushion. So very, very important here on the play calling for Wilkes and, of course, the execution part after they discuss this flag.
So the flag down is going to be offsides against Kings on the kickoff. They'll give them 5 yards. The ball will be placed at the 44-yard line. Make that the 43, and that's where Wilkes will take over. Colonel's offense today, just 2 first downs. They have 90 total yards on 21 plays. They would like to see a drive themselves. And we have another flag coming in.
Like a false start against the Colonel.
Gonna go against Wilkes.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it's hard enough getting 10 yards. Now you got to get 15, as you mentioned, Bob. Just 2 first downs thus far, even though you have a 17-7 lead because of some incredible opportunities through turnovers. Now let's see if the Colonels could actually execute.
Screen pass set up. Russell with a big hit on Bogley, as Bogley took it up for about 7 yards, but he was walloped, John.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's heading to the sidelines. That was a biffle and a half.
Second down. 2nd and 7.
That one you can't fool around with. You see the tight end getting his side a little bit.
Paterno inside. Looked to the outside, John, but took it right into where everybody was. Maybe a little inexperience there. Looked like he had room outside to run. 3rd down on the way for Wilkes. So, talked about that. Coach talked about that yesterday when I met with him. Played physical. We need to match the physicality of Kings, and that plays into getting some opening and some passes too.
Right, and physically, I think they've done it defensively, but offensively, with 7 seniors back on Kings, you need to attack and attack strongly here against this Monarch front.
Dealing on 3rd down. Kings has him. Ball's on the turf. Recovered by Laterno for Wilkes, or that would have been a huge turnover for the Colonels. Kings with a big stop. Punt team comes out.
Richards recovers that fumble. It'll be 4th down. 5.
Daly looking around, not much time. He gets hit right there, and then he just tries to throw it down. And that was fumble. As the referee looked and said, oh, that's out.
So here's Mellon again. His 4th punt. He's averaging 36 yards. Low snap. Might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it will go out of bounds about the 25-yard line, and that's where Kings will have it. 3:50 left in the half. So after a long drive for the Monarchs, they're like nothing more than to get some more points on the board.
That's a lot of time and not a good job by the Colonels offensively. So now they're going to have to lean on their defense. They've leaned on this defense all year long. They'll lean on them a little bit more. And Monarchs are hoping now that they got one score, maybe they could build on that.
Well, a good point, John. Good defense from Kings so far. It's been overshadowed by the turnovers. Hare, design run. Picks up a block. Holds on to the ball. Robinson with the tackle. Gain of 9.
Hare's got a knack for finding open areas, and he can run the balls. You know, I think sometimes his receivers get a little frustrated with him, but it is windy today. But, hey, you put a hat on hat, Funk gets a nice block downfield. You get Robinson trying to make a tackle, but Hare's a nice-sized kid, 6 foot, 205 pounds.
Wind really has not played a factor too much. Just a couple balls we've seen in the air that have been thrown down, so maybe it's affected the play calling from Wilkes. Hare to the wrong team. Picked off by Pascus. Inside Kings territory, knocked down at the 23. He was the only guy there.
Well, you get to see a nice angle here as to what Hare is seeing. Hare is looking. He's got nothing, a little bit of happy feet. Throws it out. Don't know what he was thinking out there as he throws it to Pascus. And Pascus comes up with INT for the Colonels.
First interception on the year for the senior, Wilkes in business.
Thinking bubble screen out here on that right-hand side.
Another turnover for the Monarchs. Laterno, nowhere to go. Kings doing a nice job on the offensive front. We talked about that, a key to the game. Bobby Russell in there with another tackle. Between him and Stengel, in there all the time.
They may have talked their way out of that with the Monarchs. Put a guy right in the grill, the inside receiver, the slot guy. That's what you need to do to kind of cut that bubble screen out. Get a guy right up there.
Russell, 7 tackles so far himself. Daly gets his receiver. Good yardage on that.
That's all you're looking for, 5-6 yards again, but you got to be able to execute it all day long, and it's been few and far between where you get a guy open and he hits it in his hands and he grabs it. They've had a lot off the hands of receivers today.
Gattuso from Pittston area with that catch. So 3rd down for the Colonels. Here comes the rush. They set up a screen. Laterno has blockers. Laterno inside the 10.
Good call, right time. See the little screen over here. They get the penetration. Really nice catch. This Laterno's played a nice game today with that touchdown run. Comes up with a clutch catch here in this situation to at least put the Colonels in field goal situation, worst case here.
Again, 3rd string tailback in. First and goal, Wilkes trying to add on to their lead. Laterno up the middle, has room. Big push from the offensive line inside the 5. Wilkes this year in the red zone, 16 touchdowns, trying to add to that.
Well, you talk about running into a brick wall. That was like the immovable object over there. There's not much doing. He ran as hard as he could, but trying to get a surge from his offensive line, but ran really hard, like an explosion.
Under 90 seconds to play in the first half. A half that has seen many turnovers from the Monarchs. 4 in all. This time is the fullback, but no way, says Kings. And Curtis, Chad Curtis in on the tackle, and also Monroe Sherman.
Jacob Brook didn't have a chance. He got this ball over on this side, and nice job. See the defense coming from behind, coming in front, standing them up. So excellent job there from the Monarchs, and they've had some of that this season.
So timeout on the field. So we'll take a quick timeout. There's a timeout on the field. Wilkes trying to add on to their lead.
There you see Hara on that last possession. This is how Wilkes got started in the position they're in. Michael Pascas on the interception for the Colonels and a completion out in the flat to Gattuso. And then Daly over on the right-hand side gets it to his fullback, running back, Brandon Letourneau, who gets it deep inside Monarch territory, and that's where we're at.
3rd and goal for Wilkes after the interception, trying to add on to their lead. Daly has room. Daly's going to walk into the end zone, but there's a flag down. Hold on. This is coming back, I think. Flag came from the referee in the white hat. Jimmy Burks made the call, so let's see what it is. They're staying on the field. You would think it's against Wilkes as a hold or something.
That's what it appeared to be.
Holding against the Colonels.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, replay the down.
Wow, big break for Kings right there. On 3rd down, they get a holding call against Wilkes. This will back them up.
Right now that wind was blowing towards the end zone. Now it's kind of shifting a hair, maybe a little bit more across field. So you start thinking field goal.
It definitely is gusting. That's up near 20 miles an hour. 3rd and goal. Daly held on to the ball. He's forced out of bounds at the 20. Not sure why he didn't throw it away. It's a mistake from Daly because it cost him yards for the field goal attempt.
Yeah, we're probably going to look at it like a 38-yarder or so.
Coach Brown on the field, probably talking to his quarterback. So here comes the field goal team. That means Carl Van Gaan. His longest field goal of the year was 29 yards. They have had one blocked. He's 3 of 4 on the season. So this will be from 36 yards with the wind and going across him. Nice view. Kick is up, and it is going to be no good. So the Kings defense holds, and the score remains 17-7.
Little wind shift in the last 5 to 7 minutes, you know, could have changed that. You know, the flag was blowing towards the end zone, starts blowing across a little bit, and that one comes up a little bit short for the Colonels.
So Kings will get the 3rd quarter kick. They deferred to begin the game. And the game started as Kings went 3 and out. Excuse me, Wilkes went 3 and out. Then Kings fumbled the ball. Hara back into the ground. He throws it. Palmer was the nearest receiver. The offensive stats are going to overwhelm you, John, but Kings is averaging 4.18 per play in the first half. They run 39 plays for 163 yards. That long drive of 92, much of that. Hare just going to keep it. And that should roll out the clock. So Kings content to go into the locker room down 10. And it's been the Wilkes University Colonels who have come in and sent this Kings crowd into shock as they own a 10-point lead going into the break. And Aaron Dugan has the Wilkes Colonels coach. Aaron?
Well, Coach, defense, the story of that first half. You've got to be very happy with the defensive work out there.
Yeah, defense played great. A lot of energy to start out. We're going against a good defense. Offensively, we got to make some adjustments here at halftime and come out and put some more points on the scoreboard if we can.
As you know, with this game, anything can really happen. So what's the key to keeping that defense consistent in the second half?
Well, I think we got to be balanced in what we're doing. So offensively, we got to stay out on the field, let them rest a little bit, come back, play with energy. We got to take advantage of turnovers. That's probably the thing I'm the most disappointed with. They've turned the ball over. We haven't been able to get points off of it necessarily. So
thanks, Coach.
You got it. Thanks.
Okay, Bob.
But John, his team owns a 10-point lead, 17-7. They came to play, and they set the tone of this game early on.
They did, yeah, defensively, and of course with turnovers, they've done the job.
So we're going to the half. We'll talk to both presidents from Wilkes and Kings, and we'll have your halftime stats and highlights. The score at the half, Wilkes 17, Kings 7.
This is another Fox 56 sports presentation of the Mayor's Cup football game on Fox 56.
And welcome back to McCarthy Stadium. You're watching the 20th Annual Mayor's Cup live on Fox 56, Wilkes 17, Kings 7 at the half. I'm Aaron Dugan. Thank you so much for joining us today for a great day for some college football. Joining me right now is the president of Kings College, Father John Ryan. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Aaron. Great to have you with us.
So as Kings approaches its 70th anniversary,
right.
It's a good time to talk about some of the other connections you have with some other liberal arts colleges. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, although Kings is a relatively small liberal arts college in northeastern Pennsylvania, we're part of a larger network of Holy Cross-sponsored schools. Of course, the largest of which is the University of Notre Dame in 1946. A group of priests and brothers came here to Wilkes-Barre to start Kings College. But also we have other colleges and universities that are part of our network. Stonehill College, which is a liberal arts college just south of Boston, and the University of Portland in Portland, Oregon are also associated with Kings. As a matter of fact, we have members on the board from University of Notre Dame, University of Portland, Stonehill College. So we have these interlocking directorates that give us best practices of higher education. So although we're only going to be 70 years old, it goes back to 1840.
Wow.
And so Holy Cross has been in the business of educating hearts and minds for quite a while now, and we think we know a little bit about that. You know, we had some exciting news yesterday. I was informed that a group of our accounting students who are in a national competition for Cooper's Waterhouse, which is the largest public accounting firm in the world, has a national competition. We're one of the finalists, and we'll be in Washington, and it'll be Boston College, perhaps Florida State. The other semifinals are Florida State, Texas Tech. So really big schools, which we love to be in that competition. We're a small school, but we think we can compete at a national level. This morning I got news that our marketing team in Washington is finished third place in marketing competition. So just proud of our kids, and we can compete anywhere in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Congratulations to those teams. It seems like every year Kings is on another national ranking. This year in the Economist, Kings was rated 102 out of 1,300 schools. You've got to be really proud of that number.
We are, and you know, Wilkes did really, really well as well. You know, this year for the first time, the United States Department of Education has connected information from the Internal Revenue Service with financial aid forms for students, where they can match income that you is generated 10 years after you graduate. And you know, we should be proud in northeastern Pennsylvania. Kings and Wilkes are in the top 10% of wage earners after 10 years of 1,300 schools. You know, sometimes we think all the great things happen outside of the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, but both in Wilkes and Kings, 2/3 of our students come from different parts of the country to come here to live. We ought to be proud of our region, and we just do so well. Being in the top 10% of salaries from 1,300 schools is real, I think, a testament to what we do here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and we should be proud of it.
And lastly, I know you're really excited. You just announced your commencement speaker in May, and it was an alumni that was in charge of the papal visit in Philadelphia. How cool is that?
It really is. Bob Sharufali, he's one of the managing partners of Baker Tilly in Philadelphia, King's alum. He was here in Wilkes-Barre for a while at Parenti Randolph, went and started the Philadelphia office of Parenti Randolph, which then became Parenti Beer, then Baker Tilly. He spent 20 months in preparation for all the logistics, the planning, the execution of the papal visit. It's been very good to Kings, and we're excited to have him as the commencement speaker next year. A great role model for our students. He's not only a great professional, a great civic leader, a great person. Making a living, making a life has been the motto of King's College since 1946. He really embodies that, and we're proud to show him off for our students.
Well, Father, it's always fantastic to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thanks much, Aaron. God bless.
Okay, we'll be right back with another special guest. Stay with us. Welcome back once again to McCarthy Stadium. You're watching the 20th Annual Mayor's Cup right here on Fox 56, Wilkes 17, Kings 7 at the half. I'm Aaron Dugan. Thank you for joining us. Another special guest joining me right now, the president of Wilkes University, Dr. Patrick Leahy. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Aaron. Nice to see you.
So you have a brand new college ranking in education I know you're really excited about. Tell us all about that.
We are. You know, The Economist is one of the world's most respected magazines, and they've been continuously publishing since 1843. And for the first time this fall, they did a ranking of American colleges and universities based solely on the additional value, additional economic value that each individual institution offers to their students. And we were really pleased to see this fall that of 1,275 schools across America, 1,275, Wilkes was ranked 25th in the country. And I think it just continues to endorse for us the things that we're doing with our students at Wilkes and how we're trying to develop the positive outcomes for them. I'm just delighted that such a respected organization picked up on that and recognized us the way they did.
Yeah, congratulations on that honor. And I know a lot has changed on the campus since the last time we spoke about a year ago. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, in the last couple of years, we've made big investments at Wilkes in science and in nursing and in business. And in the coming year or two, big investments in engineering, communications, and visual arts. But just this summer alone, about $10 million was invested in our campus around student housing. We just redid a historic residence hall and named it for our second president, Francis Michelini. And then we've made investments in our food service. And of course, our signature project was our Gateway Project, which links the heart of the downtown, South Main Street, with the heart of our campus, our Fenner Quad. It's all an effort, Aaron, to try to create what we want, which is a traditional residential campus in the urban environment of Wilkes-Barre, and I think we're making great progress in that area.
Absolutely, and one of the pillars, one of the programs that's really respected at Wilkes is that nursing program, and it's been renamed, right?
It has. In fact, a couple years ago, once again, we wanted to re-energize our nursing program, so we split it off as a separate school at Wilkes. We brought in new leadership, new faculty, we reviewed our curriculum. We started growing our graduate programming in that area. In fact, the fastest growing programs at Wilkes right now are our online master's programs in nursing. We took all of this to a local businessman, John Passon, and asked him for an investment in this. And what resulted was the largest single gift that we've ever received at Wilkes University to create an endowment specifically for the School of Nursing. So in recognition and in thanksgiving for that gift, we have named in perpetuity our School of Nursing now the Passon School of Nursing, and you can imagine how excited we are about that.
Absolutely. And lastly, Veterans Day just passed. Wilkes University, they're definitely behind the veterans. Tell us all about that.
We are. In fact, it's a commitment we take very, very seriously. You know, we have some folks at Wilkes who are faculty, staff, students who are themselves veterans. We also, of course, have the Air Force ROTC detachment, for which we're very proud. But I think a lot of us who did not serve in the military, myself included, feel that one of the ways that we can serve our country is to serve our veterans well. So we try to recruit veterans to Wilkes once we get them there. We try really hard to provide the services they need. And in a couple weeks, I'm delighted we'll be able to dedicate a new Veterans Resource Center, not only for the students at Wilkes who are veterans, but for all of the vets in the Wyoming Valley as a way to show our appreciation for their service to our country.
Well, that's awesome. And it's always nice to chat with you. Thanks for stopping to talk with us.
My pleasure, Aaron. Thank you.
All right, we'll have plenty more here from McCarthy Stadium when we come right back, including some stats and highlights. You're watching the 20th Annual Mayor's Cup on Fox 56.
There it is. It's the Mayor's Cup, what they're battling today between Kings and Wilkes. Whose name will be etched on that cup today? Welcome back, everyone, to McCarthy Stadium in Wilkes-Barre Township. Bye-bye, John Mandola. You just heard from Aaron Dugan and the two presidents. We thank them and thank Aaron. Give her a little bit of a break. And not bad out there right now. But, John, Wilkes came in with the intensity and the mindset that they want this game, and they owned that first half.
They did. A lot of turnovers went their way, and just certain plays kind of fell into their lap, so to speak, and the Colonels took advantage of it.
Kings did have a long drive, so why don't we take a look at the highlights from the very exciting first half here in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, well, the Colonels got things going this afternoon. Here you see the block punt getting on the inside. Robinson doing the job, and then, of course, they punch it in for the touchdown. Letourneau with a nice blast over there. And then Powell gets involved as the catch and fumble, and Powell down the sidelines takes it 48 yards for the score.
It was a day for the Kings offense to not do much. The Wilkes defense taking over this game, and then finally Kings got something going, John. They had a nice long drive, put things together, 92 yards and some good pass plays. Then the big interception at the end by Pascus, and that led to no points as the Kings defense was able to hold, and that's where we stand right now. The score's 17-7, but they talked about that offense. Kings did have some.
Yeah, they got that curl route working, able to get that working on that right-hand side, then running the ball over to the right-hand side. And then they get DeMarco involved, who gets it a little bit closer for them. And then they throw the route out there to the touchdown to Mike Palmer, catches it in space. Defensively, they get a great effort up front. They're flying around on the football. Then over here, defensively, more stiffness on that outside defensive end there from Kings. So again, that front seven with 7 seniors doing a fabulous job.
That Kings drive, 14 plays, 92 yards, really their only offense here in the first half. So here's the stats, and Kings might have the offensive numbers, but they don't own the score on the scoreboard. Those 4 turnovers leading to 3 scores.
Yeah, it's hard to control turnovers. You know, everybody says, hey, you don't want to have turnovers, but, you know, it's hard to control, and just things fell in the Wilkes' way. And right now, you're on the other end of a turnover battle. You're usually on the other end of the scoreboard, too.
We talked about our 2 spotlight players coming in. John, we talked about Hara from Kings. He's 6 of 16, just 65 yards, a touchdown, 4 sacks, and that interception by Hara. And that's really what Kings is looking for, better play out of the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's got 56 yards on the ground, though, so Hara can do it with his feet. And, again, just one of those guys that he could be emotional, help spark your team. They're going to need him to go at it.
And Ryan Daly as well. He's 8 of 15, just 59 yards. He's been sacked twice. So really the Wilkes offense, you know, they really haven't gotten anything going. Just 3 first downs in that first half.
A few of those balls for Wilkes are so close. You know, they're on the edge of the receiver's hands. They didn't squeeze it in. You know, so they're just a hair off. So, you know, Daly's kind of executing, but not well enough. When a team has the record that Wilkes has, you've got to get it a little bit better where you're at.
Third down conversions not very good on both sides. 2 of 9 Wilkes, 2 of 8 Kings. They have to do a better job on third down converting for each team. So both teams are back on the field. And if you're Jeff Nahr, what did you say to your team at the half? Well, we held off their big play emotionally. Now we get the second half.
Yeah, I think they just have to finish. If they don't do any turnovers this half, they have an opportunity to get right back in it. You know, they're one play away from being a few points down. And again, we'll see if they continue to stay with Hara or if they try to maybe get their other quarterback involved. So they have the Wildcat. They've showed a couple looks of that in the first half. Will they try to show it in the second half? Again, Kings really hasn't had many opportunities to get it into some of their big playmakers' hands. But if they do, DeMarco or someone like that, maybe they can get a 70 or an 80-yard touchdown.
We've seen just about everything today. A block punt, interceptions, fumble recovery for a touchdown. Do we see an onside kick? Not yet. Not yet. So DeMarco back to receive along with Justin Burke. And Von Gahn again tees it up. We're underway. The second half here in Wilkes-Barre for the Mayor's Cup. Reverse again. Has some running room. Burke with a good gain. Kings will have good field position at the 43-yard line.
Well, you'd love to start your drive right at the 50-yard line. DeMarco, a little reverse the action. They're coming this way now and following his blocking over there. Excellent job there for Kings starting out this drive.
So Hare comes back on. He'll have a sidecar next to him. That will be actually the freshman Cale Kitchenman, number 48. Haven't seen him all afternoon. He picks up the block. It's a quarterback sneak, just a 1-yard gain. So you can see they're trying to get Harris some running room. Probably open things up a little bit.
I like the idea of Hara running the ball a little bit more. Your leading rusher going into the half. But again, he's gotten some 8- and 9-yard carries. This was a long run, I think, today of about 18 yards in that first carry, or first half.
Tanner Stengel defensively for Wilkes having himself a game. 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for a loss. That's number 31. He's probably the best linebacker in the MAC. Get it up to Funk. He's seen most of the action this afternoon. 5 carries in the first half for just 20 yards. So big third down here in the third quarter.
You see the Monarchs going straight ahead. Actually looked like that was number 38 Downs. Jordan is a freshman. So look at some freshmen working in here. You see Funk is 30, Downs is 38, and sometimes these jerseys get a little close to each other.
Hara got a guy over the middle. It's Palmer who has it to the Wilkes 35. Gain of 16.
Those in routes have been deadly for Wilkes. I mean, there were 4 kernels around the receiver, and they couldn't guard him. So maybe the scouting report is, hey, we're going to throw the ball in the center of the field. Look at the 4 guys right there. Somehow they got it in the window.
And we mentioned those third down conversions. There's one right now in the second half, a big one. Keeps the drive alive for Kings. Down 10. Couple yards. Again, that's Downs, number 38, who's getting a bunch of the carries too this afternoon. Gain of 3.
Kings figuring, hey, we're going to try to run the football, get a couple of yards. Maybe we'll throw the ball, some 5-8-yard patterns, and just start moving these chains and trying to take control of this game.
Robert Moyer on the stop, number 3, it looked like. Hare, plenty of time. Surveys the field, has a guy. Tyler Maroney inside the 20, first down Kings.
Simple pattern, simple results for the Monarchs. Deep in route. To get another guy, see Hara looking at him the whole time, able to deliver that football, expecting some connection there, and they get the chains to move again.
Tell you though, Wilkes is really coming after the ball. They're making some big hits back there. Here comes the blitz. Hara gets it away. Out to Downs, picks up about 4.
Jordan Downs on a catch.
Jordan Downs involved in the offense here in this drive. That's the second play he has made.
Second down.
The Monarchs look like they are confident right now in this opening drive.
Well, those 17 points, they came maybe halfway through the first half, John. It was already 17-0. So there was a lot of time for Kings to get back into it, especially the way their defense was playing. That's if they don't turn the ball over. Hare to the end zone. Knocked away. Andre Roberts had a chance to pick it off, intended for Palmer.
How about the delayed safety blitz out of Wilkes? Powell eases up, and then watch this. He delivers a Boomski in the backfield, but great recovery there in the defensive backfield for the Colonels. The ball just got held up one more time. Andre Roberts defensively.
So now another third down to be converted for Kings. Four wideouts. Out to Palmer. He had a knee down if he caught it, but it goes incomplete. Now fourth down on the way. The way the wind is going this afternoon, I think you might have to go for it, negating the field goal.
Well, it's swirled now back the other way. So we saw it going, it's kind of like a bowl here at the stadium. And you see he puts his knee down, tries to make a safe catch. It wasn't going to matter anyway because the Colonels were right there.
Well, Kings has already pulled off a punt today. A fake punt, excuse me. So Kenasevich will go for a 33-yard field goal. His longest on the year is 38, the lefty. Nice leg. It is up and good. So with 11:16 to play, Kings gets back into it. They're down just 7 now as Kenasevich hits the 36-yard field goal.
This Sunday, the Saints look to get to the 500 mark on the season while the Redskins aim to match last season's win total. NFL this Sunday at 1 only on Fox 56.
So the big kick return to open the half helps Kings on their 40-yard drive. 9 plays, 3:35 off the clock. So now they're down just 7. Good way to open the half if you're the Monarchs.
Both programs hoping to get a jump start on next year, you know, and right now, you know, Trey Brown hoping to get a second win this season. He expected to have more than that, and so did the rest of the Colonels.
Deemer lets him bounce, finally picks it up at the 10, but the Kings special teams had him, and Deemer has some room. Deemer, a magician, getting out of there. He gets it up to the 25, and here comes that Wilkes offense, who in the first half averaged just over 3.5 yards per play.
Deemer hoping for a little over coverage, so he misses, gets one guy to miss, and a bunch of guys are already downfield, hoping maybe he could just slip through there, but Monarchs overall did a pretty good job of containing Deemer.
Go to the run off the first play. This is Laterno. Again, Brandon Laterno, sophomore, 5'9". No gain on the play. Big stop in the middle from Gary Powson, the senior.
Consistency right now is what the Colonels need offensively. You know, yeah, they lead on the scoreboard, but they need some type of rhythm on this offense.
They want to do it through the air. Daly over the middle's got a guy. Garrett Armstrong pulls it in. He's up to the 50-yard line. Gain of 25 for Wilkes.
One thing Daly is good at, he's good at finding open space, got good peripheral vision. You see him looking around, making sure he's got enough room, and delivers the ball over to the center of the field. They get across that midfield stripe.
Armstrong's 35th catch on the year. Swinging out. Good gain. Kyle Cattuso out of Pittston. Picks up about 4.
Well, talking to Gattuso last year, you know, he was thinking about some schools he wanted to go to. He said, you know, I think I want to go to Wilkes. You know, they recruited him. He's undersized, but he's very athletic. Played quarterback in high school, played some basketball. Able to get 4 or 5 yards, you'll take it. He'll be a force to be reckoned with in the years to come.
There's that big defense again. Laterno not going anywhere. Taken out in the middle by Michael Martina for 1. And Jordan O'Hearn out of Scranton for another.
Well, this flag may go against Kings. I'm not sure. It's going to be a personal foul, horse collar, whatever they're going to call.
Oh, Jeff Narr can't believe it. He's almost out to the numbers on the field. Jimmy Burks, our referee, going to check on the number.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Defense, number 96. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, things have not gone Kings' way all afternoon.
Referee having that conversation right now with Jeff Narr about what's going on in the football game and how he feels. So he wants to make sure he has that conversation. They don't have another one.
So add-on 15 for Wilkes has been their best offensive drive of the afternoon. Big rush. They get him. Jordan O'Hearn. The Scranton freshman with a big sack.
Well, Daly's got to figure this out here. He had a screen over on that right-hand side, but he didn't want to chance it. Again, we don't know what he saw through his own eyes there. So he obviously saw something that he just didn't want to throw the football. It was dangerous.
Loss of 10. Second down on the way. Moving all over the place. Well, the Kings fans are back into it, John.
Daly, you know,
False starts. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. We play the down.
Talking to Coach Brown, he says, you know, hey, first year for Daly, freshman last year. He's going to get his feet wet. This year, you know what? He's going to learn a little bit about the offense. Next year, he's going to run the offense and run the system. So, you know, these games that he's getting in the system, they're hoping they pay off the next 2 years for Ryan Daly. But, hey, it's last game of the season. You got to put it together. He's fired up right now.
Daly just going to take off. He's got some running room. Oh, big hit out of bounds. There goes the flag. That's going to go against Kings. Can't do that. Just mental mistakes killing the Monarchs. And Daly holding the ball like a loaf of bread out there while it was running.
Now they're discussing it over here, so I don't know if
was it late or not.
Clear cut or not, but saying he got a little extra chuckle over there. You know, chuck, not a chuckle, but an extra chuck over there by the sideline to get the shoulder out.
We have 2 penalties, John?
We have 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 61. Dead ball personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 54. Both fouls will be assessed. First down.
Okay.
So you see Daly coming over here, and it wasn't the first guy, but the second guy just gave him a little extra biff there. And of course, a couple few words over there. You know, it's a rivalry game. It's the Mayor's Cup. We'll see referee with a football kind of running around on the field now. Here's first penalty, and then he'll run forward 10, 15.
So after all that, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. And it should be 3rd down. I don't know if they replay the down. 2nd down and 25. Oh, they marked it the 1st down.
Yeah, he did say, the referee did say it was 1st down.
Okay.
So they're going to move the chains back. Trey Brown confirming we got 1st down here. He's on the field now.
Is that 1st down due to the late hit? Is that an automatic 1st down?
Almost have to go to referee school nowadays.
Man, now.
There's so many changes in the rules over the years.
We don't want to be guessing.
No.
So on the field, and that's all that matters. The ball's on the 40. It's 1st down, Wilkes. Daly, nice fake. He's going to take it again. So yeah, little John going back and forth, John.
Fullback's got to be aware there because Daly was just going to tuck and run it and could have got an extra block on the inside and get a couple more yards right here. See the linebacker coming. He missed the first guy, hit the second guy. That could have sprung him a couple more yards. So, again, just that awareness overall that you got to have. But, you know, that's some of the things that you're dealing with right now on the Wilkes Colonel offense, trying to get that consistency. And Jacob Brook is a junior, 5'11", 200 pounds, getting some action this year.
They're holding the ball. Another flag down, John. Trey Brown's not happy. Another flag.
Personal foul, late hit, number 92 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That might have been after the whistle. Jeff Nahr pulled over Ahern, the freshman. So this will really give Wilkes big yardage. The ball's at the 21.
Well, the referees are trying to gain control of the football game. It's 17-10. There's a lot of emotions for the Mayor's Cup every year. And again, these guys are just trying to gain any little advantage they could. Well, you don't want penalties.
Daly has a lot of running room. Ryan Daly, touchdown Wilkes, 21 yards. So after all that, Wilkes takes it 75 yards, helped by some penalties, and they extend their lead.
That is as gorgeous of a play as you're going to get from the Colonels this season.
Absolutely. Van Gaan on for another extra point. Wilkes has matched King's touchdown, and this one is up and good. So Ryan Daly pulls his team together, and he takes it in for a big touchdown as we head to break.
Look at this call. Motion left, Houdini right. And the magic happening for the Colonels this afternoon, going up 14 with Ryan Daly.
Toys for Tots and the U.S. Marine Corps this year. Before today's game, people dropped off new and unwrapped toys. There was a great turnout. Some members of the U.S. Marine Corps were present at the collection tent. And it won't end today. Fox 56 will be collecting toys at our station in the upcoming weeks. Feel free to stop by and donate. We're located at 181 Highway 315 in Blaine. Bob?
Well, what a nice thing we're doing at Fox 56, Toys for Tots, collecting toys new and used at our station in Plains. So if you want to stop by with a toy, John, put it in the box. All goes to charity. Thanks to the U.S. Marines for helping us out. So back here, turns out to be a nice sunny fall day. A little bit breezy, and the Colonels have upped their lead now, 24-10. So that's a nice drive, John. 7 plays, 75 yards. Best drive of the afternoon for Wilkes.
Yeah, maybe one of their best of the year. They finished.
No reverse from Kings this time. Burke has it. And Burke taken down at the 32. So Kings took the opening kick of the third quarter down. They scored. Wilkes responded. Nice drive of their own.
Those emotions need to be kept in check. You know, you make it on the field a couple times. Maybe it's through special teams, but again, you do not want to put your team in a poor position. And a couple choice plays have done that this afternoon between these two. And that's a lot of times could be the difference in a football game.
Still a lot of time left. Not even midway through the third. And the way we've seen these games go in the past, this will come down to the wire, no doubt. So a run in there. Again, Downs. 38 getting a bulk of the runs here in the second half at least. Picks up about 5. Downs' 4th carry, has 19 yards today. Coming in, it was talked about, John, time of possession for Kings. I don't know how much time of possession you can use down 14. Over the middle, it's caught. Matt DeMarco's touchdown, Kings. 63 yards.
63-yard scoring strike. Tom Harris from Matt DeMarco. 63 yards. Touchdown, Marlins.
You got to target your big play receiver, and DeMarco is one of those guys. Didn't have many targets this afternoon at all. He goes against the former quarterback, Marcellus Hayes, in the defensive backfield now, and he beats him and beats the safety, and he's a track star, Matt DeMarco.
Kick from Kenesevich is up and good. So 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. Kings gets back into it. They trail by 7 now.
DeMarco gets this thing, and it is lights out for the speedster. Adam Myers takes it in. Kings within 1.
This is another Fox 56 sports presentation of the Mayor's Cup football game on Fox 56.
Hi, we're the Kings College cheerleaders, and you're watching live college football on Fox 56. Woo!
Lots to cheer now. If you're a Kings College fan, their team back into it, as both teams have come out firing here in the third quarter.
See if the Monarchs trying to think of anything with this kickoff coming. There's so much time left in this game. We're not even halfway through here this third quarter. I guess we are a little bit more than halfway through the third quarter.
Bit.
But, you know, it's
already 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. It's been pretty exciting.
It's been a very exciting game. Wilkes came out with 17 points in the first quarter off a couple turnovers. And Kings has battled back and battled back. Now down just 7. Now Wilkes gets the ball. Their offense finally has come to life here in the third quarter. And just as I said, this game's far from over, John. Kings scores just like that. One play, 63 yards, and that will do it every time. Quarterback Hara now, 10 of 22, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. DeMarco, 3 catches, 78 of those. Gattuso holds on to the ball. He's taken down quickly. Good tackle by Dylan Flair out of Valley West.
Yeah, it's sun right in the eyes of Deemer and Gattuso. He thought maybe Deemer was going to take it. It ended up being Gattuso. There's Jeff Nahr, knowing his team has an opportunity here. See what they do defensively, and maybe it's their turn to come up with an interception or a fumble here, because this Kings defense has been playing scrappy. Wilkes was able to do it on their last drive, but I'm sure the Monarchs would like a turnover.
Daly, 9 of 16, just 83 yards. Goes to work, out to the fullback. Good cut. Good play. Jacob Brook out for a 12-yard gain, another first down.
I love the short stuff, and that's what they get over on the right-hand side, right out in the flat. Brook, it's flipped over, but gets a chain mover.
Here comes that high-tempo offense. Screen. Wide receiver screen. 6 yards on the play. Brian Richards was the man who pulled it in. Richards, a sophomore, and 29 catches on the year, coming in 243 yards. Daly now starting to heat up.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting consistent right now, and it's the best time to do it in the second half.
Inside to Brook. Gain of 7, first down Wilkes.
Passing sets up good running, and you may get a hole or two. So excellent job here. What a crash down over there as they got a nice seal there. The Wilkes offensive line. Ryan Bowman comes up with a nice block.
Out quickly to Deemer. Picks up a block. Picks up about 7.
Real nice block out there for Wilkes. Excellent job as they get a block to help spring their receiver. It was Richards.
Another special guest joining Aaron. A familiar face. We saw him in the first half, but more to talk about from Kings. Aaron?
That's right, Bob. We're talking to Corey Eunice from the enrollment department once again. We heard Father Ryan talk about some opportunities for students from Kings through Notre Dame. Can you just expand more upon that?
Absolutely. Our relationship with Notre Dame continues to grow by leaps and bounds each year. Our most popular program with them is our 3+2 engineering, where students will come to Kings and they'll study one of our sciences. And after their third year, they'll go to University of Notre Dame for 2 years, and they'll receive 2 degrees, a bachelor's in science from us, and then a bachelor's in engineering from Notre Dame. We also have a really neat program for students that are interested in accounting. They'll do 4 years in our esteemed accounting program, and then they'll do a 1-year master's degree in accountancy from the Mendoza College of Business, one of the top 10 business schools in the country. And finally, one other new one is a STEAM science program for students who are science majors at Kings. They can then also go to Notre Dame and get a master's degree in business. So really cool relationships, and those programs are growing in popularity.
Yeah, a lot of options there, and I know application deadlines are coming up, and you want to remind everyone of that.
Absolutely. So for students that want to get a response from us by Christmas, we have our early action deadline. It's December 1st. And for students who won't be able to get their application in time for early action, rolling decision is due by February 1st, but we strongly encourage you to get those apps in before then.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate the time today. Back on the field, third down on the way for Wilkes.
Yeah, great opportunity here for the Colonels as they're driving. Monarchs right now look like they're a little gassed, so see if the Colonels could pull this off with a tight set over on this right-hand side.
Wilkes 2 of 9 on 3rd down. Handed inside to Brook, the big fullback, powers ahead. He's going to be short, I think, by a half yard.
Short of the first down.
Constantino downfield.
Bobby Russell, too. All kinds of action going on downfield. Yeah, what is going on?
What was that?
4th down.
Wilkes not even thinking about not going.
A lot of emotions in this game. You think it doesn't matter? You're wrong. This one matters to Wilkes and Kings. 4th down. Wilkes 0 for 1 on the day. Big fullback, John. 5'10", 200. The junior doing the work.
99.9% sure he was going to get the ball. They were running the football. I mean, it's 4th and a little bit. Get a great seal block over there from number 71 on the Wilkes Colonel offensive line. Lucas Amaro, 6 foot, 278-pound senior out of Mount Carmel.
Out to Deemer, he goes to the air, gets a couple more yards. Pickup of 5 for Deemer.
Literally something out of absolutely nothing over there. Richards trying to get a block for him one more time, but those Monarch D-backs are coming upfield so quick. Now is the time where you fake that. You send your blocking guy, fake block, and do a go route. Maybe you can score a quick touchdown.
Richards over the middle. Caught. Close to another Wilkes first down inside the 20.
You got to feel good for Richards. He's been blocking all afternoon. Finally throw him a bone, and he makes a play.
Richards with a couple big catches already in this 3rd quarter. Wilkes had no offense to speak of in that first half. Had a ton of offense, but the Kings defense right there. Coming up quickly, James Burke made the initial hit.
That would have been the play. I would have did that on a 2nd and 1, or 2nd and short, that is. Going to be actually 4th down now coming up, but maybe you would have tried to get to that end zone. Now decision time here for the Colonels.
Well, you're up by 7. The wind going across the field. You already missed 1 field goal, and I think Trey Brown might call timeout.
Yeah, you might as well milk this all the way down if you could.
Timeout called by Wilkes. 1:38 left in this 3rd quarter, and Trey Brown wants to talk about it. So both teams this year have struggled at times. Here's what Kings face, John. What do you see out of this?
Well, tough one to start the year against Moravian, who's, usually pretty good every year. They lose to Widener. They beat FDU, who's improved this year. They've gotten a couple wins. They used to be on the other side of things. DV, Stevenson was a tough way to go by a touchdown. Again, defensively, good job. Beat Lyco by a few. They beat Misericordia, and then that tough defensive loss to Lebanon Valley. So, been a few in there that you're thinking, wow, man, we might be able to be 6-4.
Same thing on the other side, because if you're Wilkes, you got that big win early on against Delaware Valley, as we're going to look at their schedule. Hey, they're thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we're okay. Maybe we're pretty good, and they pull off that win in the 2nd game of the year, but then they lose 7 in a row.
Yeah, you start thinking, man, this could be a program changer. We beat Delaware Valley. When was the last time we did that? And then they go down to Lyco. They lose that heartbreaker there to FDU, which just crushes them. Widener's really good every year. Albright stacked. Lebanon Valley just on the other end of it, and then you saw what happened last week against Misericordia.
Another 4th down coming for Wilkes. Big one right here. Daly gets pressured. He's knocked down in the backfield. Kings ball.
Sack by number 57. Michael Martina on the sack.
Daly fake here, and then he had guys right in his grill. And Martina sacking and a packing over there for the Monarchs. Huge play.
Came in with 7.5 sacks. A big one right there, maybe the biggest of the year for the senior. Kings takes over, down 7, nearing the 90-second mark here in the third. Very entertaining football game. Glad you could join us here on Fox 56. John, one of the more entertaining games I've seen in a couple years between these two teams. I remember the last time we were at Kings, we had a couple block punts late in the game. I don't know if anything could top that, but we're close. Hara back. Plenty of time. He's taken out of the backfield. Held on to the ball too long.
You had that feeling that Kings would try to go up top on the first play, but this guy's been kind of sniffing around all day. Jordan Stiles, 5'9", 200-pound freshman. He's a linebacker. He's been near some plays. He has 38 tackles coming into this game, but just a nice job overall.
Stiles, a freshman out of Camp Hill. So a loss of 7. Hara just going to take up. He's wrapped up by Ugu. Gets back 5 of that. But a third down and long on the way for the Monarchs.
O'Hara again doing some stuff with his legs like he's capable of doing. Just a draw straight up. Ugu kind of jumps on his back.
They'll have to get this play off before the end of the quarter. Gonna go come out. 3 wide receivers on 3rd and long. 3-man rush. Hara throws it, goes incomplete, and that should do it for the 3rd quarter. So 3 quarters in the book, and a bunch of points left to be had. Wilkes holding on to a 7-point lead in the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game.
Tonight on Fox 56, Saturday college football, Oregon takes on number 7 Stanford as they look to stay unbeaten in the Pac-12 North Conference. Fox 56, Saturday college football kicks off at 7:30 only on Fox 56.
Had a lot of action in this 3rd quarter. A lot of hard hitting. Wilkes driving down, trying to get things going. Deemer flips over. And then Daly taken down in the backfield. It's 4th down on the field right now. Kings is going to punt it away. So Hankey out there to do the honors. It's 3rd of the afternoon. This one is a nice high hanging one. Wilkes lets it take a little roll, and the Cardinals will have the ball now at their own 32-yard line. We're back at McCarthy Stadium in Wilkes-Barre Township. Bob I, John Mendola, Aaron Dugan. It's the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game. Very entertaining, John. 24-17. And both teams had things going in the 3rd quarter.
With a little bit of everything today. Bunch of turnovers, but some big plays. And actually the Colonel offense coming to life in that last drive, but not able to finish. So let's see if they can on this one.
Daly over the middle. Good defense from Kings. Justin Burke there. Fans, of course, want a flag.
Single man route on that backside. Defender had his arms right there, so it was a bang play.
Wilkes, 211 total yards today. It's about their average, and they get it out to Laterno. Laterno driven out of bounds, gain of 3, so third down waiting Wilkes right now. 2 of 11 the Colonels are this afternoon on third down. Let's look at that play again.
Try to get it out to the running back. Daly tries to set it up. Don't really have much there. Great hustle for the Monarchs. Wilkes gets to the line really quickly. Now they're trying to figure out the right play call.
Play clock at 15, plenty of time. Kings will like a stop here. Get the ball back. 3-man rush. Daly with a room. Daly dives. And he's going to have the first down.
Very close to the first down marker. Picks up the first down.
Daly growing up here in his second season. Again, the last couple drives of the Colonels have been pretty darn good. He keeps this one alive all himself, does it with his legs, just falls far enough ahead. Gets past that first down marker.
Daly at Laterno with the run. Laterno with running room. Looks like he's got about 9.
Laterno looks like he's ready to go. He looks like an Energizer bunny over there. He keeps running back to the huddle and say, hey, I want to play this football game. He came out for a series or two, and now Laterno back in. And excellent job.
Laterno this time met at the line of scrimmage. Good defense, shooting in.
Loss of 1. 3rd and 2.
Looks like linebacker Digatano, excuse me. Here comes the blitz on the outside. They get a hand on the ball.
Well, the way Kings is defending this backside slot guy, I'd like to see a flat throw over there, but just Daly goes over to the right-hand side, gets knocked down. Monarchs doing a great job defensively, getting airborne to knock it down. Colonel started to get something going, but Monarchs, again, playing some stiff defense.
James Burke looks like he had a paw on it, the junior linebacker. Mellon the kick, taken by Burke at the 10, and no yardage on the punt return. Quickly about Ryan Daly, he needed 119 yards coming in to have the single season record for passing yards. Neil Ryan had it in 1998. Right now he's at 119 yards. So if Daly completes one more pass in this game, he will own the single season record. Right now, Kings wants to have their quarterback put up some numbers as they trail by 7 now. They have to go the length of the field to tie it. They already have a 92-yard drive today in the second quarter. Harris short arms it again. Seen that a couple times from the senior quarterback.
Well, Monarchs came out in the second half, the first drive, they were running the football. Had some success in there. You try to maybe get your quarterback to keep a few times, and Hara, they went to the air. Now they'll bring DeMarco in and put him in the slot. See if they can get him in some space, maybe a bubble route.
They're going to do a little reverse to DeMarco. DeMarco's room. Good yardage from the sophomore from Myers up to the 24-yard line, moving the chains.
Well, you would think that'd be a red flag. DeMarco hasn't been in the slot at all too often today. He's been mostly the outside receiver. He gets into the slot, they reverse the action, and now they got a first down. So big spark there for Matty DeMarco.
Hara on the called screen. Oh, he looks like he might be hurt. Nope. Yep, he got biffled, John. He came up, it looked like he was holding his shoulder right at the first moment, and he's undoing his helmet. So the quarterback, Hara, banged up a little bit. He knew it as soon as he was hit. So get it again.
Well, let's watch his head on this play. So Hara is going to get it. He's going to go upfield. And you see right there, I think his head hits off the back of the turf. It got jostled a little. That's one where your teeth kind of chatter real quick as you hit that turf so hard. It could have been with the front side of the hit.
Yep.
But the way it looked like his head snapped back.
Jordan Stiles, number 54, came through. So there is the quarterback that will go in. He's played a lot, though. 6 games on the year as Zach Whitehead. He's out of Delaware. He's a sophomore. Doesn't have any touchdown passes, though.
Well, today's Wilkes and Kings game also available for purchase on DVD or Blu-ray. To place your order, go to myfoxnepa.com. Get more details.
So now let's see what kind of protocol is in place for Hara now. Whitehead comes in. He's thrown 1 pass this afternoon. It was incomplete. So the future is now if you're Kings. Downs, couple yards, 3rd down on the way now, waiting the Monarchs.
Couple different guys in and out today in that backfield for the Monarchs, and this one happens to be Downs. And nice job there defensively for Wilkes, Stengel and crew.
Coming up on the 11-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Big rush coming. Over the middle, he has a guy. Complete. Dylan Flair with a big reception, picks up about 10, 1st down Kings.
One more time, the Monarchs complete a pass over the middle of the field. Just something the Colonels have lacked all afternoon long. Even though they're leading, there's been holes in the defense, and they find another one. 2 guys bounce there, and then Igwu getting downfield to make the tackle. He's got a good motor to him, hustling.
There haven't been many, but that was a big 3rd down conversion for Kings. Big rush, Ugu flipped over. Picked off. Jared Powell still at his feet. Brings it up to the 38.
1 flag's down.
Thrown into traffic, and Powell was the guy that came out.
Now with the interception, flag on the play.
Senior out of Easton.
You see here the pick by Powell. He had a lot of room to the outside after he got this pick. Should have came way out here. He ends up going into a lot of traffic, almost loses the ball as Kings was swiping at it. You saw right there, it almost went away. Now let's see what this flag is all about.
Personal foul. Defense, number 61. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
2nd interception of the day for the Wilkes defense. Add on the penalty, and the ball is going to be placed at the 23-yard line.
Well, they're still talking to Tom Hara on the bench right now. They got a team of people as far as quarterback-wise. Right now, we're gonna lean on that Monarch defense one more time. Let's see if the Colonel offense could go up 2 scores again. Oh boy!
Oh, they get a fumble recovery though. Picked up, no. The ball's down. I didn't hear a whistle, but the referee is pointing to the 35-yard line. It will be Kings ball, no touchdown. A big turnover for the Monarchs.
Well, they finally got one. The Monarchs did it. They've been waiting all afternoon long, and that defense deserves some credit today. They, as you said it earlier, Bob, they've been kind of quietly getting the job done, and this ball just starts on the turf. The ball became a little flipsy there at the end.
That's close, John.
Referee was right there.
Yeah.
He made the call. So, again, the ball hasn't necessarily bounced King's way today as far as breaks. They're not down 7, but they'll take anything they can get here in the fourth quarter.
Here comes the blitz on the sophomore quarterback. Steps up, but he's taken out quickly by Michael Fitz. Now Johnny relying on the sophomore quarterback to win it. I'm not sure about that yet.
Well, that's going to be the tough part. They're going to have to come up with a couple of plays. Not sure if Hara has a concussion or not. He's kind of over on the sideline just sitting out. They have to go through their series of questions.
The medical staff talking it over in a huddle behind the Kings bench. Hara just standing around. Concussion rules in effect. Blitz again. Set up a screen. That was a tough one because there was a Wilkes player standing right there, Pascus, who could have taken that easily.
It looked like a battle for the football. They read that one. The Colonels in sellout position right now. They are just bringing the heat on this quarterback and seeing if they could force some type of play. So Colonels hoping to get their own turnover again going here in this half.
Kings 4 of 12 on the afternoon on third down. 3-man front. Out, he's got a guy. Good pass from Whitehead, hits DeMarco for 11 yards. Moves the chains.
You bring the heat, you bring the heat. You don't bring the heat. You give the quarterback some time, and he delivers this one to DeMarco. Perfect route, and a great job there for the Monarchs of moving the sticks.
Roberts gave DeMarco a little bit too much room out there. So here goes the sophomore quarterback again. Caught by Miller. Pick up a 4. Under 8 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Andre Roberts. Second down and 6.
Nice execution over here. Get it to your receiver. Hopefully he makes a move or two, and he does. Gets upfield a little bit.
Plenty of time. Going deep and no one out there. DeMarco, the nearest receiver. So it looks like the medical staff has gone through their checks with Hara. They're talking to his father. I don't think he's coming back. He does not have his helmet in hand. So looks like it might be in the sophomore's hands the rest of the way if Kings wants to pull this one out. Looking for the third straight win in the Mayor's Cup game. There's the rush. Over the middle. Nice play by Roberts on DeMarco. Fourth down on the way.
Roberts. That was there. Broken up by Roberts.
DeMarco plays with a lot of emotion. This one could have went for 6. But a nice job there for the Colonels and knocking that thing away by Roberts. Admirable effort there from Zach Whitehead. He's delivered the ball pretty close to where he needs to. Now the Colonels Better watch that Kings doesn't pull off another trickery here.
I think Jeff Nahr's playing the percentages here. Back up Wilkes, and they takes a Kings bounce. Still rolling, and it'll be down at the 21. So Jeff Nahr's going to rely on his defense now to stop the offense from Wilkes, but that gives us a moment now to go back to Aaron with another special guest, Aaron.
Well, we have another special guest from Wilkes University, Dr. Stephen Thomas, Chairman of the Performing Arts at Wilkes. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely happy to be here.
Now, you just celebrated a pretty big anniversary. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, we did. The Dorothy Dixon Dart Center for the Performing Arts, which is the building that hosts the performing arts programs at Wilkes University, just celebrated our 50th anniversary, which we're very excited about. The building is a symbol of the university's ongoing commitment to the performing arts. So we had a wonderful evening actually back in October to celebrate that. We had performances, we had a bunch of memorabilia from the past 50 years. We had guest speakers reminisce about their experiences on the stage and so on. It was a really wonderful evening, a great way to celebrate.
That's great. So what are some of the ways that Wilkes students can get involved in the performing arts?
Well, actually, the Division of Performing Arts, which I'm chair of, encompasses theater and music and dance. We offer majors in theater and musical theater, a BFA in musical theater, a BA in theater. We have minor programs in theater, music, and dance. And for dance students, we offer all different kinds of dance classes, ballet, jazz, modern, and tap. For music students, we have all kinds of ensembles. We have a variety of instrumental ensembles and choral ensembles. And for theater majors, we actually do 4 productions a year. And we've got 2 plays and 2 musicals. And in fact, one just opened. Our fall musical, Shout the Mod musical, last night. And it runs tonight, Sunday afternoon, and also next weekend as well.
That's awesome. And how can someone get tickets?
They can just, they can find information on the website, Wilkes' website, or they can just come to the Dart Center where the performance is and just walk in and buy tickets and come to the show.
All right, well, thanks so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, back to the game.
Thank you, guys. Daly dives, and on 3rd down, picks up the 1st down for Wilkes.
Looks like he was trapped in the backfield, but he escaped. 1st down, Colonels.
Daly's a little ginger after that, but he found a way to get the 1st down.
That he did. So Wilkes now in no hurry, going to let the clock run a little bit. Kings needs a stop, John. Get the ball back. Wilkes content to keep it on the ground with a big fullback, Jacob Brook. Brook running hard today. 10 carries, about 41 yards.
Cliff Francis blocking over there in the left tackle position. 6 foot, 240-pound senior out of Coughlin High School.
Bruce Damon, the tackle, number 54. So we're under 5 to play here in Wilkes-Barre Township. Will Wilkes get the cup back for the first time in 3 years? Right now, they have it. Big push. Trey Brown talked also this week, John, about playing physical. Have you seen that out of his team today?
I think so. I think both teams have been very physical today and very emotional. Both have played with the motors always seem like they're going on somebody. See Constantino up front and some of those guys, this Colonel offensive line, you know, they punched the clock all afternoon long. They have more points. Offense hasn't been that good, but the second half, they've been much better than the first half.
Yeah, they're 1 touchdown in the second half, the difference so far. Daly, quick out. Has his receiver and almost breaking it.
1st and 10 for the Colonels.
Huge play for the Colonels, absolutely. Great job. Zach Bagoli out of Wilson High School. That's a school that usually goes high-octane offense, knows what it's about. Here you see Daly with the fake, the delivery. Some linemen coming out that way. They even run into him, but getting enough people's way to move the chains and get into Monarch territory as the clock continues to roll here. So the Monarchs usually high octane. Now slow it down just a little bit. Keep it going.
There's no hurry. Keep it on the ground. A Gattuso, the big fullback, picks up 7. Boy, if Kings wants to stop them, they have to do it at the point of attack, John. Timeout called by the Monarchs.
Timeout, Kings.
So with 2:49 left in the game, timeout on the field, and we'll take a timeout ourselves. Kings try to stop Wilkes.
You see the Colonels in business with the turnover again. Powell one more time. Interception. He had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. This time he gets the interception. Then Kings comes up with their own turnover. That ball was blown dead. And then a first down for the Monarchs, trying to work it with a backup quarterback. That drive ends up halting for the Monarchs as good defense right here from Roberts. And now this is where we're at, the Colonels on a game-ending drive, so they hope.
Big drive being put on for Wilkes that could seal the cup. Brooke, the big fullback, running room, straight through, inside the 30, another first down, Wilkes.
I'll tell you what, Brooks done a nice job today stepping in at a big role. He's just been another guy, great back block there. Once again, I think that was Francis. So that offensive line doing the job up front. A great job offensively for Wilkes up front. Bowman, Dupree, Constantino. See Amoros in there today out of Mount Carmel, and Cliff Francis for the Colonels.
Now Kings stops the clock. So 2:44 left. They need to stop because they just gave up a first down. So biggest drive of the year, I would say, for Wilkes right now, John. They've done a nice job. They started inside their own territory. They really haven't used the pass a lot. They've been running the ball with some physical play.
They have. I got a good feeling about Ryan Daly going forward next year and the year after. He really, it seems like he's grown up here today and has helped this Colonel team.
So first down, they stay on the ground. Big push from the offensive line. Give them a lot of credit. Pushing forward for 4 yards.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Jacob Brook, what he's done today. He's out of Layton, New Jersey, 5'10", 200 pounds.
Second down.
Just sidestepping, going forward, and stepping up. Only came into this game with just under 200 yards on the year, but hey, they've got a stable of running backs. You know, guys are going down left and right, but it's been Laterno and Brook.
Yeah, the rushing yards, 142 for Wilkes and just 135 passing. This is a team that came in, John, on offense, just rushing for 80 yards per game.
Little or no gain on that one.
So Trey Brown has come in and said, we're going to run the ball and be physical, and they have. They came in with much more intensity than Kings did early on. And they got a couple breaks with fumbles. They converted them into points, and they're holding on now.
Well, you know that Wilkes is going to run the football. At least you're pretty confident they are. So Kings trying to load it up, but then you got to wrap up Brook, who's a hard-nosed runner. As now they're going to try to take this clock right around a minute 5 or so. Let's see if they call a timeout on a third down here.
Timeout, Wilkes.
So Wilkes takes the timeout. Figure you have 2 downs here. Ball's on the 24-yard line.
The clock is at 1:05. The Colonels will decide, again, third down, what do you do? Do you try to take a chance and throw it? Or do you just keep doing what you've done, which is run the football in a 2-down territory and hope to get that clock down a little bit lower?
So here's what's at stake, John. Kings has won the last 2 years, and you can see just how close they've been. Wilkes Throw overall has dominated this series. Going back to 1946, they have 20 wins. I don't know if there's much bigger than today. It just seems like Wilkes has just not, the last couple years, been in these games.
Yeah, I mean, they stepped up, especially with a 1-8 record. It's a game that both teams feel that they could win every year. Both teams hoping for that shot in the arm. It may not be, hey, you go from, 3-7 to 7-3. It may be you may get an 8-2 or a 9-1 year. They're hoping that one of these programs could do that.
That 2013 game came down to a block punt at the end. Kings trying to stop them. Powell, Brooks with the ball.
Flag on the play.
Well, some flags down, pushing and shoving. So if anything, that stops the clock. There's a flag down. A lot going on behind the play.
We mentioned how one play here or there, you got to be disciplined. You got to make good decisions. So you see here, Brooke does a great job of avoiding that first person. It's taken down, then some stuff's going on behind the play that you can't see, and the referees are going to sort it out. As he even lost his hat.
Well, what the referees have done today, John, Jimmy Burke's in charge, is really try to take control of this game, knowing it's an emotional game, knowing there's going to be a lot going on both sides, and they just didn't put up with it. That's what it comes down to. So this could be a big play with under a minute to play in the game.
This could be the sealer if it goes Wilkes' way. So
yep.
We'll find out.
Cheerleaders waiting, fans on the edge of their seats. Wilkes thinking and hoping it goes their way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay after the game for the presentations of the Mayor's Cup for the MVPs.
Well, if anything, it's been a hard-fought, hard-nosed football type of game.
Yep.
So here's Mr. Burks.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Face mask, number 6 of the offense. Dead ball personal foul, 54 of the defense. Both fouls will be assessed. It'll be automatic first down.
So there it is. Automatic first down, and that will do it.
First down.
Wilkes will be getting the cup back for the first time since 2012. John, all you can do is shake your head. It's been that type of game. We've seen just about everything except an onside kick, block punt, fake punt, interception for touchdown, fumbles, pushing, shoving. I mean,
this will be one of those conversations every year. I know you and I run into this. It's kind of that water cooler talk. You go into work and, hey, how about that game on Saturday between Kings and Wilkes? Did you see this? Did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. It was pretty exciting. Again, that's the thing about it. You throw the records out. It's always entertaining. And again, it's Division III football, hard fought, blue collar. That's what you're going to get. And it's a great tradition, and we're fortunate to bring it to you every year.
And 2 schools that are literally blocks apart, and those blocks are getting closer and closer as the schools take over Wilkes-Barre a little bit.
Trey Brown, this is a good shot in the arm for him going into the recruiting season. Jeff Nahr had recruits here this morning. See some guys, you know, on the sideline with some different jackets at different schools, taking in the programs. And most of the time, you'll see a kid be recruited by both of these programs. So, you know, a young man may go see Kings for a little bit, may go see Wilkes, depending on their needs, and kind of get a little feel for both schools. But Ryan Daly, I think this is his team now. You know, going forward, he was in for every snap today, and he's going to be a junior next year. He's looking forward to hopefully leading the Colonels.
So there's the first play. They're going to run the clock down. If you look at Kings, you look at turnovers, and you look at penalties. Bunch of turnovers. Penalties, how about 3 fumbles lost? And 9 penalties for 121 yards. And that's the difference in the game, John. Kings basically shot themselves in the foot because too many penalties and too many fumbles that Wilkes turned into touchdowns, including a pick 6 by one of our players of the game, Jared Powell. And that will do it. Wilkes University gets the cut back with a big 24-17 win in the 20th annual Mayor's Cup game. Some jawing still going back and forth. We'll have to get that under control. We don't want to see this in a game. Both teams now coming to the center, John. This is not what we want to see. Nah. Very emotional game. I mean, one of the more emotional games I can remember.
Yeah. Again, it didn't start by the traditional, let's get the lines and get everybody lined up, which didn't start out too good here at the end. So you got to gain control, and some of your leaders on your team, the guys got to step up.
The plan is for the Kings football players to come over to their bench, sing their alma mater, and then they'll try to line up one of our players of the game. They'll announce the players of the game, and then they'll give the cup to Wilkes. So as this is going on, we'll take a timeout here. When we come back, we'll see the presentation of the Mayor's Cup to Wilkes. Well, it's been an emotional afternoon in Wilkes-Barre. The 20th annual Mayor's Cup will go to Wilkes. A big 24-17 win. And Aaron Dugan has one of our players of the game on the field. Aaron?
That's right, Bob. I have our 2 players of the game, Jared Powell and Ryan Daly. We'll start with you, Ryan. Very emotional, as we can see on the field. What's it feel like to bring the cup back to Wilkes?
I don't have any words for this. It's amazing. It's right where it belongs, definitely.
So you're a young quarterback. Where do you see the future of this team going?
I see it on the rise. I definitely see it on the rise. After this victory, I definitely see it on the rise. How we played through everything, our defense played a heck of a game. They kept us in this game, but yes, we're definitely on the rise.
What is it like playing in this game?
It's crazy. It really is. Yeah, with all the chit chat and with everybody, it's crazy. Especially playing with everybody. Everybody's got your back. It's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, our next player of the game, Jared Powell. Some big plays. I'm all wet. Okay. All right, we're on live TV. We got to do this. My legs are soaking wet, but we're going to do this. We're talking about some big plays on D.
Right.
Talk about your defense coming up big.
I just owe it all to Coach Gunnan. I appreciate him for putting us in a position to make the plays. That's really all I got to say. I mean, at the end of the day, he calls the plays, and we just make the plays for him.
Talk about this team a little bit. It's, it's kind of a family atmosphere. You can tell you guys are really close.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We've gone through a lot of adversity together. Camp is definitely hard, so that gets us together, too. We're up on campus by ourselves. It's just us, and we have to just feed off each other. And as you see today in this big win, we just come off and just feed off of each other.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, I think I'm going to go grab some new pants. Back to you.
Well, Coles is right down the block. We're right by the Wyoming Valley Mall. There's plenty of time. So they're going to line up, present the trophy to Wilkes. But, Powell had that big fumble recovery, the part of that big first quarter that really pushed Wilkes ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Powell came up with the big plays. The defense came up with the plays. A fumble recovery, an interception towards the end of the game when the Colonels knocked out the starting quarterback for Kings, so that was a big difference for them. And I think Ryan Daly, it's going to be a big year for him next year. He had a good jump start, and the Colonel offense moved up and down the field in that second half. They may have only had a little bit of points, but they did move the football.
So Mayor Tom Layton is down there. It will be his last presentation as mayor of Wilkes-Barre. And unfortunately for him being a Kings grad, Mayor Layton, he'll have to give it over to Wilkes and President Pat Leahy. So there is the mayor. They're going to announce the players of the game voted on by the media here. And the player of the game for Kings is Bobby Russell. Oh, no, take that back.
Number 57.
Thank you, John. Number 57, Martina.
Did that big sack.
Yeah, they did.
On Daly. Had a lot of tackles today.
And then for Wilkes, it will be our player of the game on the Wilkes side, Powell, who had a big fumble recovery and the interception, which we saw. And those were two big plays. The Wilkes defense held Kings because Kings had a chance to get back in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Powell getting a little shake in there, getting his dance down as he had a big afternoon for the Colonels and a slight upset here in this Mayor's Cup.
There's Trey Brown. He talked about how big a win this is. You mentioned it going into the offseason. Gives you a little more emotion. You're going to lift a little bit more weights, and you're going to help with recruiting.
And he's such a positive guy, Trey Brown. The record 1-8, man, that stinks. You go to 2-8. It's a little better, but he still said, hey, we're staying together. Guys are still fighting, still competing. You saw that today. I thought both programs were flying around the football. A lot of motors out there, but Wilkes had a little bit more, one touchdown better.
So the Mayor's Cup will go to the Wilkes University Colonels for the first time since 2012. It was a hard-fought 24-17 win. As they take the trophy over, we'll say so long from Wilkes-Barre Township. The final score, Wilkes 24, Kings 7. Guys, take the trophy.
This is another Fox 56 sports presentation of the Mayor's Cup football game on Fox 56.